friends. I'm Prairie Vintage. My name is Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube. I use spirit and my intuition, the tarot, to communicate energies to you guys, amazing viewers. I'm so blessed to be here. If you're new to this channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you found me. And if you're returning to my channel, I am so blessed, so grateful to be walking this journey with you guys. And hopefully you guys all find a pile that resonates for you guys today. You guys are all very safe and welcome in this space with me today. Today's reading, we'll be taking a look at the person on your mind, whoever this person may be, and what it is that this person might be misinterpreting in regards to the connection between you and this person, creating conflict. So there might be indifference in regards to how they're seeing something. Okay, so it's coming from their point of view, meaning it's their perception, and it's maybe far from the objective truth. So it could be triggering, okay, but it's intended to provide clarity to you so that you know where this person is coming from or how they're misinterpreting maybe something that you're outputting unintentionally or maybe intentionally, but it might be not clicking for this person for whatever reason, okay? But this is their perception nonetheless, and how they're intaking this information that might be obstructing progress or cohesion between you and this person. So let's get into the decks and then we'll get into the disclaimer. But before we get into the decks, I keep forgetting to mention to you guys, I'm having a promo right now on prairievintagejewelry.com. So all jewelry and private readings are on sale from now until February 14, which is Valentine's Day. 15% off if you enter code OneLove15. All sort of one word, one flow. OneLove15. And you enter that at the checkout to save 15% off your purchase. All right, so let's get into the decks we'll be using for this reading. I rarely ever use this deck, so I might have to reference the book. It was calling to me. Actually, plants were calling to me. So a few plant decks. Ooh. There's a second plant deck, the Botanical Inspiration. And there's the other plant deck, Edible Wilderness. Could be this is a very earthy group, or maybe a lot of gardeners in this, viewing this, for all the plants coming through. There's another flower. And the BuzzFeed Oracle cards. And finally, for the tarot, we'll be just using one pack here if we need to clarify the secret tarot. All right, so before we get into these three options, let's get into the disclaimer. So I intend on this information being something that helps heal. Okay, if it's your first time to tarot in general, this isn't something predicting whatever's set in stone in the future. Okay, this is a reflection of what's going on energetically in your consciousness. And so you can change your reality. Okay, energy is always fluid, meaning whatever you focus on and then put your intention on is what you're creating. And so if you take your energy off and invest it somewhere else, you're going to create something else. Okay, so this is looking at where your energy is sort of sitting at the time that you watch the reading. So all these readings are timeless. Okay, all my readings are timeless. Whenever you come across that reading, if the messaging resonates for you, then the message was meant to find you. Resonating meaning with your intuition. And there's a resonance. It sounds familiar. It sits someplace within you that you recognize. Okay, if you don't understand the messaging, if it's not making sense, then it's not your message. If it's something so way out there that doesn't even register, it's most likely not your message either. It has to have a ring of truth that you connect with. Now, this doesn't mean that it doesn't trigger. Okay, in fact, things we need to heal, we'll know by how we're triggered. So if it creates any discomfort in our energy field, it might be something we have to take a look at. And we don't have to do anything, but if we want to heal and we're feeling triggered, then that's sort of a signpost towards which area we're being called to look at. Okay, because if it is not creating conflict at all, then it's not our messaging and we don't need to heal it and we move on to another pile. But if we are triggered for whatever reason, then there's something within us. We shouldn't be triggered by anyone or anything unless there's trauma, unless there's a shadow, unless there's a part of ourselves that's resisting. Okay, there should be no aversion to anything. Okay, if we're feeling any sort of negative or contracting energy, that means there's something within us that's trying to keep something away to protect us, and that's stemmed from ego. Okay, because the ego wants to keep us protected, wants to keep us safe. And so we might need to look at what's coming through. Okay, so I mention this because this is a reading about healing, and we are perfect as we are. Okay, but we only have to realize how perfect we actually are here. So if we're full of trauma, triggers, and experiences of the past that are creating all sorts of conditioning, then we're not healed and we don't see our divinity, and then we feel triggered and traumatized. Okay, so no, we don't have to keep doing perpetual shadow work. We don't have to keep doing all this stuff, okay, if we're healed. But if our mind is poisoned, if our ego is driving, if we're unconscious and we're acting out of program and fragmented energies, then these readings are helping to bring how we're in program. How are we acting out of pain? How are we just in automatic response mode? Okay, and the only way for us to know is for us to be awakened, for us to go into the shadow, for us to transmute any sort of pains and traumas and that sort of stuff and bring it to our awareness. Once we realize that all of that's trauma, all of those triggers are actually just illusions, nothing's really happened really to our divine being. It's all happened to sort of the energy of the past, which no longer exists. And the only thing keeping it alive is the way we hang on to that energy, the way we store those traumas. Okay, and so once we let it go, then we're free, we're liberated, we're enlightened, we can move on. And so the only way we can stay in suffering is if we feed pain, if we feed any sort of energy that's not conducive to liberation. Okay, and sometimes we like to be stuck in our victim stories because it gives us purpose, or we're just not ready to let go. And so the greatest thing we can do in regards to ascension, enlightenment, is forgiving. Forgive ourselves and pass no judgment. Okay, this is the only way to move forward, to ascend, to heal. And so what does forgiving look like? It doesn't mean I'm in agreement with what has happened and that it is right. Okay, forgiving just means I understand what has happened and I can accept what has happened in order for me to make peace with this. And it's not dictating who I am or what I'm about. Okay, and so we don't have to outrightly go and forgive maybe people involved, although sometimes we might have to. Okay, but we could just make peace and move forward. And so making peace could sound something like my parents created all sorts of trauma and havoc in my upbringing. Okay, but they didn't know any better than what it was that they were shown themselves. And so I can understand this from my adult position. But the child I was couldn't reconcile this thought. And so I carried anger or resentment or hurts or pain or beliefs that were instilled in me as a child. And it's created all sorts of havoc. Okay, and so when we can forgive what has happened as something that we're able to let go, not for the sake of the people involved, but for the sake of liberation, for our sake of freedom, for our sake of healing, then we know we're truly ascending and releasing traumas and pain. Okay, and so why I'm getting into all of this is because when we hear a message regarding someone else's perception or their reality of us, we might want to resist it or stick to our truth. And so if we stick to our truth, we could be clinging on to some form of victimhood without realizing it, no matter how virtuous or righteous or our intentions. Okay, our intentions might be something that we think is good or proper, And it could be far from the truth. Okay, so pride is the biggest ego of all that gets us. Okay, and so we have to come of neutral observer mode. We have to come seeing that everyone's perspective is true in when it comes to their own reality, what they're experiencing. Okay, doesn't mean it's the objective truth or the reality of a situation with the capital R, but it's their reality. They're creating their world. And you happen to be a part of this person's world. And so how do we connect with someone in a different world? We have to speak their language, meet them where they're at. Okay, now we don't have to do anything, but if we want to connect with people, we have to know where they're at and meet them where they're at. Or else there's miles apart and there's two people talking to each other, not understanding each other. So we could be right, like Dr. Phil likes to say, or we could heal and we could resolve things by trying to heal, whatever that looks like, and be happy. Okay, so it's always up to you. And if your way is keeping you in suffering, then just know there's an alternate option here, and that's to forgive, accept, and understand so that you can work better, heal, and move forward. All right, so beautiful people, let's take a look at our 3 options. Option number 1, we have this purse, and it looks like snake skin, alligator skin. Absolutely love this little handbag. Option number 2, we have this gold ring. Brass ring, gold ring. Okay, option number 3, we have the skeleton keys, brass keys. So sit with this energy. Now, if you're pulled to multiple energies or piles here or whatever options, we could be tapping into the same connection from different aspects, different messaging regarding the same connection, or you can tap into different piles or options based on different connections of yours. Okay, we could be expecting to see one person and another person pulls through. I don't know how it comes through. Okay, but your intuition is pulled for a reason. But if it doesn't resonate, don't have to sit there with that pile. Okay, you can be in contact with passing, present, passing, present, or future energies pulling through. It's up to you to use your intuition. Only you and the divine know with your intuition, okay? Don't force messages. Don't make my intuition fit with whatever your story is. Okay, that's going to be solely up to you and the divine. And so it's okay to be pulled to multiple piles, and it's okay to not resonate with any of them. Okay, but it should be something that flows with your intuition in order for it to make sense. And only for those of you guys needing to hear the message is this going to make sense to. Okay, so I'll leave these 3 options here for you, and then I will put the timestamp in the description box and in the pinned comment below. It'll take you directly to your pick, and I will see you there. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile 1, you guys picked the handbag, the purse. Absolutely posh, absolutely adorable. I love it so much. So let's take a look at pile 1, shall we? Now, I do highly suggest you go and take a listen to the disclaimer. I don't care if you've been here for a million years, because you'll understand exactly what it is that we're sort of doing here. Okay, we're looking at person on your mind and this person's understanding of something about you or the connection in which they're interpreting in a way that might be creating tension or might be misinterpreted in a way that creates suffering or pain or challenge in this connection. Okay, so it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It just means that this person is intaking some aspect in a certain way that may not be accurate, but it's their reality and it's their perception. And so once we understand how they're intaking you, then you can meet them where they're at. Maybe you can do something about this. Maybe you can't do anything about it, but at least you're aware. Okay, it's always up to you how you want to deal with situations, but the best way we can deal with others is to lovingly meet them where they're at. Okay, and so if we're in some other realm, we can't communicate properly. We can't work with people when we're hung up or stuck. So this is all to provide an understanding so that we can work together better. Okay, now if this is someone you're not expecting to hear from, then this is someone else pulling through, but it sounds familiar. It's up to you to use your intuition who pulls through here, okay? But my intention is someone that you've come here about and how this person is sort of interpreting or misinterpreting your energy as something, or this connection as something other than what you're intending it to be. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So we have card 21 with Rose. Oops. And I did mention when I was doing the decks, how plants were really coming through. So I don't know, maybe you guys are gardeners. Something about plants. Very strong here with these readings. Okay, so plant life. So maybe earth signs. We're going to go towards Capricorn. Now we have the Rose. Rose is all about romance. So it could be a romantic partner here. Okay, because I always read the Rose as intimate love, but Rose can also be about self-love. Card 21, okay, or the number 3. And we have, I'm just covering up this because the YouTube overlords don't like natural body. So we have eclipse, celebrates cycles. Interesting, because the eclipse can talk about something overshadowing. Cycles could be cyclical things, repeat things. It could be guiding you to pile number 2 because we had that circle. Okay, if you were drawn, take that as confirmation, potentially. I don't know. I haven't done pile 2 yet. So we have 2 clubs. So this is 2 wands. So 2s are all about choices and balance. 2 wands, yeah, that's a decision. What does it say? It says coastal environment, edible, marine life. With likely no equipment to fish when caught in survival situation, there is still plenty of coastal marine life one can collect. Clams, oysters, mussels, limpets, sea cucumber, sea urchin, short crabs, and then warning, shellfish may be toxic, because this is talking about edible wilderness. Okay, so we have sea life. And we have surviving without food, 2 swords. So lots of 2s, 2 swords is indecision. Surviving without food. A healthy adult can survive between 21 and 60 days without food. Oh my goodness, don't take this as survival advice by any means. Signs of advanced starvation, hallucinations, convulsions, muscle spasms, irregular heartbeat. Therefore, finding some food in the wilderness will boost your moral energy and stamina and your chances of survival. Wow, okay. And we have I don't even know how to say that. Synchronous rotation. Say that really fast 3 times. Synchronous rotation, okay. We see the black and the white. Should we read this? Maybe we should. What is this synchronous rotation? It's giving me tongue twister. That's why it says the 2 faces of the moon. 2, 2. We're all about the 2s. Do you know where the expression the 2 faces of the moon come from? Not a single day has passed or will ever pass where the moon shows its other face. The gravity of one body slows the orbit of another so that it always has the same face. The far side of the moon is the one we never see from the earth. We always see the same side as the moon rotates at the same speed as its orbit around the earth. This card warns us about the hidden, what we do not see. The interesting thing here is that is not about a lack of vision, but what? Holy Linda, get it together, lady. The interesting thing here is that is not about a lack of vision, but about what does not wish to be seen or who does not wish to be shown. Isn't that fascinating? Alrighty. And we have the goose. So this is about protecting our territory. Could be quite defensive. Especially Canadian goose. Canadian goose is crazy. Okay, and we have the peacemaker. 22. More 2s, you guys. 2's all about duality. balance, choices. It's also High Priestess, which is Pisces energy, intuition. Okay, the unseen, which we were getting with the other side of the moon with the High Priestess, the unrevealed. It's time to make peace. You'll get much further on your path through kind acts and words than you will by forcing things or vengeance. Peacemaker is giving me Libra energy as well. Okie dokie. And we have Diana. Focused intention. Keep your unwavering thoughts, feelings, and actions focused on your target, and you will make your mark. Focused intention. So this is giving me Sagittarius energy. And we have the plant of Venice mallow. Hibiscus, I don't know how to say that. Orinium. Delicate, fleeting beauty. When life is not coming up roses, look to the weeds and find the beauty hidden within them. All right. We have separation, sadness, missing you, thinking about you, yearning, unsure of the future. More plants, more roses. And dragonfly. Be lighthearted, finding out, things come to light, adapt, change, heal. So a dragonfly is seeing through illusions. There's a message coming through right away. And we have the riddle, 53, or the number 8. So 8's all about strength, courage. Could be ego. Okay, Leo energy, movement. It's about to change. It's also about attainment. Could be star energy, Aquarius, which is about a vision of a distant future or a hope. It's also about healing. It could be destiny, summer. And this is card number 13. No, 18, sorry. 18. So what am I getting? I'm not getting any moon energy here, because that is the 18 in the tarot. More plant energy, all this green. I'm getting Earth, Virgo, Gemini, or I'm saying Gemini. Just looking at this riddle. That's magician energy with Virgo, Gemini. Definitely getting magician energy, but I'm getting Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn with Earth here. Stability, security, like abundance, like producing something. And yeah, like even this is the Earth sign. Oh my goodness, Linda. I'm getting all confused. This is the air sign, and air is Gemini. Thoughts. Someone's up in their thoughts. Okay, but yeah, heavy earth I feel here. Okay, so King, light attributes, enlightened, benevolent leadership, benefiting those in your charge. Shadow attributes, excessive feelings of entitlement, rulership without restraint. Okay. And we have Prince, light attributes, romantic charm and potential for power, using power for self-aggrandizement. Okay. And we have Pioneer, light attributes, passion for doing and creating what has not yet been done before. Shadow attributes, compulsive need to keep moving on. Okay. And we have Nostalgia, developing photos. Wow. Animals, we have the alligator. Okie dokie. This message is actually very clear, but I do feel there might be two. And I don't know which side you fall on. Actually, I think I probably do, but I'll try not to make any assumptions. Let me sit here with this energy for a bit to see how it's going to channel out. And then, yeah, we'll get into the channeling and the tarot, okay? So you can click straight away to the direct message. Okay. This person's issue is all about them. And I think, well, we know it's all about them, obviously, because their perception is going to create their reality. So all these piles is really all about them and whatever misinterpretation they might have. Okay. But I feel like really there's a big lie here that's shown in front of their face because of their connection with you. And so I feel your connection to this person is, I do feel it's romantic, or it's stirring up these emotions within this person from a romantic realm. And the romantic realm is one that's uncomfortable if we're not used to it. Where are all these feelings coming from? We're not comfortable with feelings. We don't know where to put them. And so I feel like this person is used to being in control of their world and their ability to move through their life and make decisions in control, which feels good, because we feel like we're running our world. We don't want anyone else running our world. Why would we want this? And so I want to make decisions that are in line, that protect me, that make me feel safe. And so now here you are in my world. And I have all these feelings and I can't control them. And now I feel all like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Because I'm in like the reality world of who I think I am, by the way, which is kind of far from the truth, because who they think they are is someone here who's like in control of feelings and void. Meanwhile, as we know, we can't choose who we fall in love with or when we fall in love, or else we'd just be flipping through a catalog, choosing only the people we want to have relationships with that are like, that we have feelings for, and we flip through and choose who we fall in love. And that's not how it works. And either we feel it or we don't feel it. And we shouldn't be in a world of resistance, or else what we resist sort of persists. And so this person with all of these crustaceans here, the clams, the oysters, the mussels, like I feel like they're very defensive when it comes to allowing people to enter their world of feelings. So I feel they've been surviving without feelings for a very long time. And that's how they kind of like it. But I feel like they're lying to themselves. And now they're seeing through the illusion that I created, that I didn't need feelings, needed to rely on anyone or feel anything for anyone. Okay, and they don't really need to rely on anyone, but we are dead to the world. We're not living if we're not allowed to feel feelings here. And so I feel like this person has gone without ever experiencing deep emotions. And they're quite defensive and guarded and protective of their emotions. So either they experience something they did not like, or just never had the chance to experience it. And so therefore I developed this coping mechanism to keep people out. And so there's a version of me that nobody ever sees. And I feel like there's a deep-rooted something here that I don't like about myself. Okay, whatever it is, we all have the thing. I don't think it's like deep, dark secret that they're like, I don't know, have like dead animals in their basement or anything like this. But it's like there's a dark version of me that I still haven't come to terms with, that I still don't understand about myself. And if I don't understand this part of myself because I've never explored these emotions, how do I want them to surface with you? All of a sudden, I'm going to emerge in front of you a version of me that I don't even know who this person is. Like I need to understand and feel and recognize and feel comfortable with that version of me so that when I present it to you, I know what's happening. Control. But if all of a sudden this new version of me just slips out, the version of me that's like acting in all sorts of ways because I'm emotionally sort of out of control. I don't know what sort of person is this, the vulnerable person, the person who acts in certain ways. Ooh, like that makes me feel so out of control. And you're bringing this out in me because it's such a natural thing. So what looks like, like me sort of resisting you or fighting you or being defensive, it's really me trying to gain a control of myself, like me trying to keep it all under wraps. So the more you make me feel a certain way that's out of my control, the more it seems like I'm resisting because it's out of my control. It's out of my control now because I'm feeling it more naturally. And it's like I'm fighting the natural flow of myself because I don't know how that's going to manifest out and reflect to you this version of me. I don't know the outcome of that. And so I feel like this person is either keeping you distant by being defensive, or at some points they have been, And there's a big sort of indecision here, a question mark in regards to, should I just allow myself to let this person in and know who I am? But it's like, who is this person? I will let them know who I am when I don't even know who this person is myself. The only person that I know on that side of the moon, or the dark side of me, is the person that I knew a long time ago. Does that person even exist? It's a version of me that I used to be in a distant world. And so this could be somebody that hasn't dated in a very, very long time, or hasn't shared, been in a romantic relationship in a long time. So it's like the only me that I know is the me from however many years ago that I don't even resonate with anymore, or that's, I don't know, the child me. Okay, because maybe I've never been in some situation that's made me have to be exposed or vulnerable in a loving, romantic way. And so even though I might have had connections, I was always sort of in control because I never really had deep feels. I never really felt out of control. And so the me that I do remember last being natural and flow is the only me that I know. And it scares me because this me, I know I never had control over. And so I feel like there's a need for this person to create some form of stability and health between the connection between you and this person. Like, let's get grounded. Let's make things healthy. Let's grow some fruit here. Let's, plant our roots so we can be sturdy and plant something. Because I feel like there is a coming together that feels so good with this summer. Like, how could something that feels so good, be something this person's fighting against or resisting or shutting you out? Because summertime is welcoming. There's nothing cold about summer. And so it might be like this riddle. It's like the opposite. The better it feels, then the more it's like this person's resisting or shutting out, because it's like the more it feels good, the more out of control I am by just leaning into my emotions and allowing whatever is to flow, because it scares the shit out of me in some way. So I feel like this is celebrate cycles. Like, I feel like this person might have repeat ways of dealing with this trauma, or this version of them not allowing people in, that they might have created a lot of, loops with you, or kept you sort of in a two swords energy. And it seems like there's no way out, or there's no answer here. And it's like, okay, well, how do we deal with someone like this? They're right in their mind about it. And so, the alligator is in water. These crustaceans, the marine coastal animals are in the water. So this person is in their emotions, but it's like, I'm comfortable controlling my emotions in some way. But the minute you're sort of in my water, which is my emotions, like if you're there, then I'm suddenly out of control. So it's not that this person is disconnected from how they feel. It's, I need to know my own feelings and navigate my own waters and sit with that, so that I know and I'm in control of how I engage with you in a way that isn't going to shock me or be spontaneous, where then I feel like I've lost all control. And so I'll only let you get so deep before maybe I guard myself, or seem like I'm on the defensive mode, or keep you at bay, because these are both like defensive animals. This is protecting my own territory. And the alligator's like creeping under the emotions on a surface level, and then they come out to protect themselves. Okay, but I think that there's a lot going on here. So with the dragonfly, it's like working through seeing the illusion that is what it was that they created is one thing that I think they're working through. And reconciling the fact that there is yearning for more, because the summertime energy cannot be ignored. Okay. And like, I tried my best to explain the summertime energy, but it's like abundance in their life. Love is abundant. That's fruit. It's worth living. It's fulfilling. It's joyful. It's fun. It's like a child. In the summertime, there's no worry. When we're on summer vacation, we're not thinking about problems and having to control our days and our schedule. We're just out there running around. And so it's like, there is no control. It's just enjoying moments and having fun. But because of this person's structured way and feeling like it's like this way that they have about them, that they only can relax or feel comfortable when they can be in control, is something they're trying to see through, because I feel like it's either created distance between you and this person, cycles of separation, repeat things where they've been creating distance, too much distance from people. Okay, specifically when it comes to romantic connections, because that's where their challenge is, but yet having this yearning desire to connect, because we're humans, so we want to connect. Okay, but it's like, that's an oxymoron. If we want to connect, why are we defensive? If we want to connect, we can't be guarding and shooing people away. So it's like a riddle. We got to find the answer to it. But it's like, am I going to let go of my controlling ways? That scares me. So I hang on to the controlling ways, or thinking I'll have more answer when I control, but I'm creating the opposite effect, because when I control, I'm creating more separation. So it's like a catch-22. Okay, so it's like they want the answer. They want the answer, but it's like, okay, well, the answer is, they think when I'm in control, I'm in line with getting the answer. But it's actually the opposite effect here. And so when we're doing the control is when we're having troubles. So I feel like this person has this unhealthy way of having the control so that they can disconnect and move on, you know, like they don't want to be invested. And it's not because you're not worth investing in. It's because as long as I can move on, as long as I can stay detached, as long as I can, my world doesn't get flipped upside down by how I feel about you, then I'm in control. Then nothing bad can happen to me. And so this could certainly be somebody who's experienced divorce, you know, divorce as a child, or seen a lot of divorce or a lot of separation, who have gone through a separation, who have had multiple marriages, who have had really deep connections at some point and it didn't work, and then they were born again in some way of being single forever. Okay, and for some of you guys, like I said, never experienced anything deep. And so I've never been in this sort of deep end of the pool, and all of a sudden, how do I reconcile these emotions and feelings? Especially for someone here who's been always sort of in control. So I feel like this person always understood their emotions at some level. They understood themselves at a capacity. So it's like throwing you for a loop. Let's say you're the expert in your field, and all of a sudden you realize you know nothing at all. That's frightening. And I feel that's kind of what's happened with this person. It's like, I don't know, I know myself, or I'm like master of my ship, master of my emotions. I can walk away, or I'm in control, and all of a sudden it's like, whoop, are you sure about this? Because when we actually love someone, there's no choice here, and it sort of happens, and it happens sort of instantaneously. Okay, and so there's also this, and why I feel like it's about them issue is because there is this seeing themselves in a way that I haven't even touched on yet, that is seeing the worst in them. And it's like the worst in me is going to scare you away. And the part of me that was the shadow side of myself is the part of me that I feel, what's the right word here? You're going to see that, and then you're going to not like it. And so if I've already lost control here and I have an inability to move on here, then you're going to see that those parts of me that you won't like. And so it's like this person is looking at what won't happen, or what could go horribly, horribly wrong. And that's what they're leading with. So it's not a very positive sort of mindset, because it's like you won't like what you see and then you leave, or I'm going to lose control and then it won't work because emotions are sort of all over the place, and then I can't, break free, and I'll be traumatized for life in some way. So it's almost like the end of the world that this person feels, the end of the world that this person won't be able to detach, the end of the world that this person will go to the depths of their emotions and then never recover, like it's some grand fear that might never ever be realized. So I do feel like this person is needing to make a decision here and come to face, like with this focused intention, and this Two Swords. I feel like they've been teetering for too long, or unclear for too long, or not securing something here, not choosing. And it's not clear their intention. So it's like, what then do you want then? Because either they can choose a world of trying to control and being at a distance and protective and defensive. That's one world. Okay, which clearly is not happy for this person and creates separation and doesn't allow them to connect. Or they need to then choose and have some focused intention in what they want to build and be committed and stable and put their roots in somewhere. But the mind gets in the way, and there is no answer to them as far as they're concerned yet. Because it's like, I don't want to peg myself as a tree and plant that thing, because then there's no uprooting and being able to go. And it's not that this person is like, I don't know, like I don't feel like they just want to wander around for the sake of wandering around. It's like, I want to be able to go, because what's going to happen to me if I'm like stuck here and then I'm like stuck forever? So it's like a misconception. Like, what's going to happen is then you're going to have to heal like other people and go through the lessons of life, like breakups and all sorts of things. But I don't know, like this person is just like, I'd rather not go through that pain. I'd rather not experience the loss. I'd rather not plant those roots if they're going to be uprooted in some sort of way. But I also really, really have the urge to connect, because connection is the fruit of life. So how long am I going to be defensive and pushing people out and like defending this Looney Tunes idea? And so the other thing that comes through here is like the version of me that isn't pleasant. Like I said, the dark side of this person that is so unbearable in some way that you're going to see and suddenly you realize it's like, by keeping that space, I hope you don't see that part of me. And so I keep that control over that part. And so it's not that I'm keeping you out because I'm fearful to connect, although I don't want to connect too much where I'm like stuck. Okay, so I don't want to connect too much where I'm stuck and have these roots and then you leave and then I'm like all whatever. But I also am kind of guarding you out because I don't want you to get too close to see that version of me that I think you're not going to like, and then you're going to decide you're going to want to go, because I still want to have a connection here with you. But the connection has to be in this middle area. Like, it's exhausting me. What do you mean middle area? It can't be too deep, because then I've lost control. And you can't get too deep with me, even if I am in control, because you're going to see something you don't like and then you're going to go. So I got to keep you in check and control you in some way so that you don't fuck off. And then I got to keep me in control, because if I go too much in the end over the edge, then it's like I'm attached to you in some way and I can't escape. So control, 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 control with the mind. And it's exhausting. Even with this peacemaker is exhausting me, because I'm really getting like with Libra, it's like trying to make everything happy and everything work in some way. Where it's like sometimes we can't be peacemakers. Sometimes we just got to go and let the chips fall where they may so that the truth comes out. It's like, if I let you see the parts of me that I think you're not going to like, it's just my own fucked up perception. It's an illusion. Maybe you're turned on by this dark side of me. I don't know. Maybe you have no qualms about it, but I'm the one that's terrified of you seeing this dark side. This version of me you're not going to like, because I haven't accepted it of myself. And so I sort of keep you away from that to protect you. But really it's to protect me, because I don't want you to see this and then dislike me. And then it's like, but if you get too far, it's like, I want to connect with you. So I want you to be here, but I don't want to create these roots, because then that's unmovable. So what the fuck is the answer then? You can't have both worlds. But I feel emotions for you. I feel romantic emotions for you. And this person's like in some idea that they are in control. Like, this is the fantasy, the illusion that I create here, that I do have control. No, you don't. And so I feel like this is the biggest lie, the biggest ego, that we're the doer, that we're in control, and that we can manipulate that out there in a way here by not that fully understanding how the universe works. So the universe is going to unfold how it does. And that's when I have control over my own sort of decisions with the two wands. It's not I'm creating that world sort of unfolding in the way that it is because I've been so controlling in a way that's been manifesting this. It's like, no, you manifest based on working with what the universe has in front of you. And so this person has it sort of backwards. But I feel like what they're creating here is an indecision, fence sitting, a riddle, an inability to commit, some gap in distance between you and this person. And it's tiring. So that was a lot, wasn't it? I'm getting heavy Earth, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, like I said, and some Gemini. And yeah, like I feel like this person can be romantic. Like they certainly have romantic feelings, but it's like I'm going to really control how much of this romance I let out. And I feel like deep down, this person is probably a hopeless romantic in some way, like in some form or fashion, you know, but it's like, I don't know. It's like little dribbles here. Like, I'll only let you see what I want you to see. And so the shadowy part of me overshadows this connection. Like, yeah, like even this eclipse thing and with these cycles, it's like that version of me that creates that riddle, the dichotomy of these two worlds, it overshadows the actual enjoyment of the summertime energy of this connection. And so that's what you sense in this person, you know, because it's like all the summer that I mentioned is what you see in this person. Like it feels good. And like, it's like, I don't want to have to worry and run around and have this joyful, beautiful energy. Like you feel this and sense this with this person. So it's like, well, what's this other heaviness that's overshadowing? As overshadowing as this other challenge that this person's hanging on to, that they need control. Spirit, what's going on here in this connection? Can we dive in a little deeper with the tarot here for pile 1? Anything I've missed? Anything pile 1 is needing to know? Clear and concise message in regards to pile number 1. Now we were looking at what it was about you. You know, that's a misconception, but it's like your energy is making me look at this part. But I don't even know that they're seeing it accurately. They're just being mirrored this back to them. Like, that's the misconception. It was like, yeah, it's not about like how they're seeing something within you wrong. It's like your energy is making me see myself in a way here that's twisted. I wasn't expecting to see that. So the spirit pile number 1, this person, what the hell? Please answer what the hell, spirit. No, we're looking at pile number 1's person and this misconception, this sort of energy that I'm tapped into. Can we get some more so that pile 1 knows what I'm talking about here? Thank you so much. So Hierophant in reverse and inability to commit and plant the root. Okay, and then we got the 8 swords in reverse. Some mindset that I need to be freed from because the mindset that I do have is creating all sorts of limitations. Lovers in reverse, they need to choose. And so I sit there humming and hawing. Choose, choose. Gemini, Ace of Swords in reverse. So I'm inauthentic because I'm not actually acting in truth. And like I said, for some of you guys, this is a need to choose. Need to communicate authentically what I actually feel, what I actually want, go after it clearly, concisely, not fence it. Okay, Sagittarius energy, by the way. Moon, there's my fear. There's the subconscious. There's this nostalgic energy that I was reading. Was like, whatever happened to me that's created this big monster in my subconscious, and now is driving my action is the fear, and I'm really more fearful of my emotions. Okay, now, like I said, this person isn't somebody who would shy away from emotions so much, but it's like the emotions that I don't shy away from are the ones I have control over. Well, what does that mean then? You know, like the emotions that all of a sudden I have no control over, like love. Now all of a sudden it's like fearful because it's uncharted territory for me. King of Pentacles, that's exactly what I was feeling. Earth energy. Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. Again, there's this needs to commit. And I feel like this person, like, yeah, like this is their energy. So, I mean, there would be no problems committing. Like, this is a solid king, you know, who's pretty stable, who's pretty grounded, who's reliable, who can create abundance in the future here and be consistent, but it's like, well, why can't this person commit? It's like this lifestyle that they're living is one of a limiting worldview of what they commit to and build, because the fear drives the agenda here. The Knight of Swords. So it's like a runner. This is like a need to confront, challenge, with truth. We take action on what we understand. We confront it, no matter how challenging, we face it. And this is like, I'm in denial. I don't want to accept it. I don't want to face it. I just ignore it. Indecisive, or sorry, what's the word? Not indecisive, but in denial. In denial. Don't want to see, don't want to see, don't want to see. So, 8 Wands. 8 Wands is about movement, breakthrough. This could be about communication, and, this is this sort of focused intention. And this guy is hanging on to this one Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands is about following our passion and being like inspired to take action based on what we feel. What we feel inspired to take action on. And it's one wand of the two. So it's like they have to choose the wand to move in that direction, to take action on that direction, to talk about this thing that they want to move forward with. Queen of Wands in reverse. Suppressing how they truly feel here about the connection, because I feel you're coming through this Queen of Wands in reverse. So you feel undervalued. You feel like this person isn't truly reflecting back to you and how they're attracted to you, or what it is that you mean to this person. So you're underappreciated, and you feel just like this person isn't reflecting back to you that they're passionately pulled to who you are and what you're about. Like, if they would, they'd move in your direction. But this is the misconception Spirit's really showing you. The reason they're not is not because they're not passionately pulled. It's not why they haven't chosen or moved forward. It's because they're in denial about confronting this whole thing that I'm showing you in the subconscious. And so I don't see the option in front of me as viable just yet, because if I do, then that means I have to overcome some fear that's deep-rooted. 7 Swords. Yeah, I'm lying to myself. I'm in some denial. So I'm not completely showing you my feelings, communicating to you the truth of what I'm actually feeling, and I'm actually pulled to you, and I am attracted to you, and all of this stuff, but I just look like I'm shooing you away, or keeping you at a distance, or blocking you out, and being defensive and guarded with the clamshells and this alligator. So wearing a mask. So I don't know what to tell you guys. I mean, that's what this reading was about, but I do feel like I need to give you advice, and I can't go until I tell you what to do. What do we do then, Spirit? What do we do with this person? So this was about knowing where someone's at so we can sort of meet them where they're at, but I feel like, we can't make somebody sort of see the light here, but at least what can you do then? Spirit, what can pile 1 do with this person? What can pile 1 do? Guidance, advice for pile number 1 when it comes to this connection specifically in this situation we were looking at. What can pile 1 do? And the greatest and highest good of pile 1 and this connection and the person they came here about. What's in the highest good of this connection and pile 1, Spirit? 6 Swords in reverse. 7 Swords. 5 Pentacles in reverse. Why is this 6 Swords here in reverse? 8 Pentacles. King of Pentacles in reverse. Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Why is this 5 Pentacles here, Spirit? 4 Cups in reverse. And finally, we have the High Priestess. And under High Priestess, we have the Page of Wands. And under that, we have the Queen of Cups. Everybody knows when they see the Queen of Cups in this channel what I'm about to say, right? Oh, boy, Spirit's too funny. So, High Priestess is Pisces. Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. what you're experiencing is true. You need validation. Okay? You're not seeing a manifestation in the 3D world. That sucks. But the 3D world, really, at the end of the day, is the 3D world. It changes. Okay? So we could be very materialistic and cling to the material world and say, I don't see you committing to me, and I don't see this manifestation, and I don't see this future stability, and therefore, screw you, I blah, blah, blah. We could try that. Okay? You can try that. If you want to move on, you have free will to do so. If you're stuck with this person, and I feel I read for the soul connections where this fucking connection is just stuck and this person's not moving forward, and you don't move forward because you know intuitively somebody's traumatized here, and you're not just going to abandon them to find your next person who's also traumatized and keep moving on from person to person to person, and they're trauma. What are we doing? We're raising the vibration of humanity in regards to how we love. So this is where we plant our roots. This is where we park our bus. And we're parking our bus here. Why? Because we're learning about unconditional love. We're seeing someone with trauma that we feel connected to, that you might feel very deeply about here. There's an intuitive understanding. You're being guided to this connection to deal with this in a way that's very different. And you know intuitively, or else this isn't your pile, intuitively that there's something here in regards to this person. That's frustrating. Okay? And so what Spirit is saying is this person will move when they move, okay, with this Page of Wands, which is in, like I said, that energy of the 8 wands, they're hanging on to that 1 wand towards what they want, only when there's love and acceptance, unconditional love and acceptance, compassion, space. How do we give unconditional love? That's our journey. We have to find out how to unconditionally love ourselves without selling ourselves short, hold space, safe space, not with expectations, not with judgments, not with ultimatums, not with shutting people out, going no contact, not with anything except for love in our heart. Okay, and forgiveness and compassion. This is what this person will need in order for them to do what they do. But Spirit is validating here. Okay, things are stuck. And yes, this person's inauthentic here. And this is where you guys are stuck. And this is why things do not manifest. There's a way to come out of this challenging out in the cold situation. They're creating an out in the cold. They don't want to be out in the cold, and neither do you. And they don't want to be out in the cold most likely as much as you don't want to. But when they realize they're the ones keeping this from not manifesting out in the cold, then they're the only ones that have the choice to make to come out of this rejection mode. And it's like the rejection mode is always up to us because this is the victim mentality that I can come out of. And I use the analogy of the kid at the play place. You take your kids to the McDonald's birthday party, and your kid doesn't get the toy they want. And so they sit there sulking for the rest of the whatever while all the other kids are playing in the play place. And they sit there crying. And it's like, then they see all the other kids having fun. And so somewhere in the party, they go and they run and they play with the other kids. Because they can't sit there just at the toy they didn't get and miss the whole party. They could. But eventually, the kid ends up just saying, oh, screw it. I didn't get the toy I want. I'm not going to sit here and cry. I'm going to go run and play with the other kids. Summertime energy. I'm not going to resist it. And so I feel like you gave this person a cup. You're like, here's the offer. Here's my love. Take it. And they're like, for all the reasons why we said. Lie to self, stuck here. And so it's like, yeah, well, what are you going to do? Leave your kid at the play place? Say, you're so immature. Stay at the play place. No, you're going to sit there and just kind of, better. You know better, and you kind of look at your kid and you're like, okay, let him cry over his toy, and you're just playing with the other kids, knowing, intuitively knowing that kid's going to come out eventually. And the more fun you're having, it's like you see that kid kind of contemplating, thinking, and then kind of stubborn, still sulking about the toy, and then finally they're like, oh, you mean my parent isn't going to get me another one? You mean I'm the only one that can make a choice here, and I could keep sulking, or I could go play in the slide? Yeah. Up to you. And so intuitively, the parent knows better. This is exactly the thing. Okay. And you might say, well, I don't want to be this person's parent. Okay. Well, you have someone here with childhood trauma or some part of their inner child that's not developed. They're stuck. Okay. We'll move on to the next person. And they have another inner child trauma. You have inner child trauma. We all are trauma. Okay. Until we heal and move and whatever. But I feel like there's an intuitive knowing here. So the Spirit is giving you this. Keep at it. if you want. Keep at it. And the at it is keep at a consistent effort of showing in the practical world love, space, acceptance. Okay, love, space, and acceptance. It doesn't matter if this person's giving you this tree energy right away, you know, like a tree takes time to build. We plant the seed, we water it, we make sure the soil is okay. Slowly the tree grows, and then one day it provides a whole bunch of fruit, and it's set for the rest of your life. Then the tree gives you a whole bunch of abundance. And right now this person has the seed, and it's taking some time, and they seem very fixed in their position here, but the seed is going to grow to this beautiful tree. Okay, but we can't keep digging it out and getting mad at the soil and saying you're taking too long and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, well, then go build a tree somewhere else. And it's also going to take equally as long. Do you want the tree? Do you not want the tree? Right? So it's up to you. And this person's stuck, but they're going to be coming out of that mindset on their own. We can't force it. Okay, kid at the play place. Spirit is so funny. All right, beautiful people. This is your reading. I love you very much. I hope this helped you, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 2. You guys picked the brass hoop. Let's take a look at the person you came here about and what it is that this person might be taking in from your connection or your energy and under some sort of misconception, okay? A misconception of what they think they're experiencing here in the connection with you. So it could be very far from the reality and the truth as you know it, okay? But it's their perception. And so I do ask you go listen to the, what is it called? The disclaimer. Okay, disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. So you know where this is coming from. So let's lay out these cards. If you're in tune with your intuition, you can go straight away to the reading. Otherwise, I do suggest you sit through this card layout so that you can tune your intuition to see if this is your pile. Don't feel obligated to stay here. This isn't everyone's message. Okay, so we have card number 11 with the Connuum Maculatum. Oh my goodness, I can't even say that. You will be my death. Look at that. We have to read this. This is a new deck, like I mentioned, and it's all about the magical botanical, so it's all the plant energy. 11 is a master number. Okay, very spiritual here about synchronicities and encouragements to keep going. But let's see, what is this? Did it even say? It says it's hemlock. Where do you see hemlock? Now I know I rarely use these. This deck doesn't say hemlock anywhere on it, but it's hemlock. So, planets of Saturn, Venus, element of water. You will be my death. What does it say? Let's go straight to the divination meaning. When hemlock appears, pay attention to your dreams and nightmares. You have an opportunity to get unstuck and move through anything that is stopping you. The inner voice and intuitive message create the key for you to bypass anything that keeps you stuck and simply get going in your own evolution without delay. In this card, hemlock manifests as the death mask of Dia de los Muertos, or the Day of the Dead in Mexican tradition. At the brow point of this mask is a heart pierced with a dagger, truth and love coming together, rising up from the stalk of the Noxus root. She stares directly at us, and we cannot avert our gaze, face the situation head on. Let's read the reverse, because let's see the shadow. It says, you are stuck in your current situation. You might feel that another has poisoned you to be blocked. But when hemlock reverse shows up, we know that on some level, we have to take responsibility for the thoughts, feelings, and actions we have gotten us into our personal paralysis. Seek the answer to your problem in your dreams and meditations, but be prepared to be confronted with the things you seek to deny. Ooh, affirmation. I have the keys to my own freedom. It's just kind of like an 8 swords type energy, but really tapped into the dream state. Some of you guys, this could be your own energy. The Jack of Clubs. So this is the either page or Knight of Wands. Food sources, edible plants, wild asparagus. Wild asparagus is exactly the same as cultivated variety. It is imported from Europe. Birds have been seen spreading the seeds in the wild ever since. Edible parts. Eat the young stems before the leaves form. Asparagus can be eaten raw. However, it may cause nausea and diarrhea. With some people. The berries are toxic. Interesting. Wild asparagus. 6 diamonds, which is 6 pentacles. That's equal reciprocity and giving and receiving. So it says edible plants, the wild rose. Wild roses grow on shrubs with sharp, prickly branches, compound leaves. Their flowers are sweetly scented with 5 broad, radiating petals that bloom white to deep pink. Oh my goodness, I don't know, you guys, I can't read. Warnings: eat only the outer portion of the fruit. Fruit. It's a plant, a wild rose. Okay, eat only the outer portion of the fruit, as the seeds of some species are quite prickly and can cause internal distress. Use gloves to avoid those nasty thorns. Look at that. So we got some diarrhea, some nausea. We have some, oh my goodness, what reading is this? All right. Here we have golden hour, sunset. Is that a sunset or sunrise, the golden hour? Do we know? We have the boar, stubborn energy, very fixed. And we have the inventor, 21, or the number 3. Look at the ship in the distance. So what does it say? It says, this is a good time to amplify your focus and to clear and purify space in your world and in your mind to make new for something new, to make way for something new. The inventor. Okay, make way for something new. The drama queen, 14, temperance energy, Sagittarius. It says, some people need a high level of attention to validate their sense of worth. Make sure that you are not that person staging needless plays. Okay. And we have Una. Easy does it. There is no need to hurry or force things to happen. Everything is occurring in perfect timing. Okay. And we have Forget-Me-Nots, Myosotis. I don't know how to say that plant's name. It says, eternal memories. The best thing in life are the people you've loved, the places you've seen, and the memories you've made along the way. Wow. Okie dokie. We have healthy choices, making healthy choices in love and in life, self-love, self-care, being happier. Very consistent message coming through. Sustainer, 24, or the number 6. 6 is lovers, could be a choice. Or destined path, destined partner. Sustainer is all about upkeeping the peace, the status quo, making everyone else happy but ourselves. Okay, Uranus, the great awakener. This is tower energy. Okay, it's also, could be judgment energy. Very sudden here with the lightning. So we have card number 8. 8 is about movement, strength, change, attainment. We have the rescuer. Light attributes: provides strength and support to others in crisis, acts out of love with no expectation of reward. Shadow attributes: assumes that all rescued will reciprocate, keeps the rescued one needy. And we have visionary. Light attributes: capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others, willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain. Shadow attributes: selling insights to the highest bidder, compromising your vision to make it more acceptable. Servant. Light attributes: delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. Shadow attribute: using the lack of money as an excuse to not move forward with life. And we have this MP3 downloads as the nostalgia card here. This is nostalgia? Oh my goodness. I guess it is. I mean, I'm going back more old school. And this is like advanced MP3 downloads, a little digital. Alrighty. So, giving away my age. Animals. We have the otter. Oh, look at the 2 little otters. How cute. Oh my goodness. Just love it. Floating, holding hands. Floating on their backs. Okie dokie. Let me sit here with this energy. You guys can click straight away on the main channeled reading in order for things to go quick. But I gotta sit here with this energy and see what comes up. Okay. So it's interesting because I thought Spirit, like the way I asked these questions was something about, you, that this person is like misinterpreting or seeing or something you're telling them or outputting, and then they're taking it in and they're contorting it and misinterpreting it. And now there's like this indifference. That's how I thought this reading would come out. Okay. Because it's like, what are they taking from you that's not right? Or they don't see it as the way you see it. Okay. But it is about what they see that you don't see. Wrong words. It isn't to just get on with it. But this is important. Okay. It is about what your connection means to them and how they're twisting it. That's what this reading is about. So your connection with this person is twisting about in their world in some way that they're really needing to deal with here, okay? And like I said, this could be your energy, and maybe you're in tune with some connection that's making you deal with this, but I'm going to read it as this is your person. Their world right now needs to be looked at. They have to make massive change, and they're in denial here, okay? And why are they in denial? It goes so deep, so many layers here. If only this person knew that the reality of beautiful world exists outside of this prison, they would take the action and steps towards this. But this person is choosing. And they could tell themselves they're not choosing, which there are. They're telling themselves they have to be in this situation, and they don't, to keep some sort of peace, to live some sort of life, to maintain some sort of status quo. And the reason they think that they're doing this is more moral and just. But the real reason they're doing this is actually a deeper rooted trauma that they're not wanting to see. That if they were revealed, the real reason they're doing it is actually self-serving and self-preservating. If that's a word. Self-preservation. And it's not because if they were to make change, then they'd be hurt. It's like self-preserving myself is like a reflex mechanism, so that I don't have to explore the new or do the thing that I'm avoiding doing. What are they avoiding doing? Making massive change here that is aligned with who they actually are here. So I'm living in a world that I've outgrown. I'm really stuck in the idea of me in this world. And so any little thing that's going on in this world that appears to be working okay, I say it's because I'm here making it happen. I'm here and it needs me. My world needs me. No, it doesn't. But we believe it because it gives us more ammo to fulfill some prophecy here. And the prophecy of I need to upkeep this thing. Because if I don't upkeep this thing, then I got to deal with the truth. And a truth here might be I have to, I don't know, be vulnerable, share like emotions here on an equal level with someone. This is scary for me. Okay, these otters, no care in the world, completely balanced, giving and receiving in a flow state, no resistance. I can receive and I can give. And I can feel good and I can feel loved and I can feel safe. That's it. That's all. End of story. But instead of this, I'm going to have to make up some elaborate reason why I got to be in a suffering type situation. Oh my goodness, like now I have to do this with the kids and now I have to do that. And now my mom is sick and now my brother's dead and now my work wants me to travel. And now look at all these things. You know, like, okay, we all have those things, but those are the things that you're needing to not use as crutches in order for you to make the change that you're needing to make here. And the change that they're being required to make is actually more aligned with a healthy choice of love, sharing, receiving, enjoying, celebrating, and being reborn. And so the universe wants this person to be reborn in their world. I don't care if they're 89 years old, 60 years old, 20 years old. I feel like this person has an experience under their belt That gives them an identity. And so if you take that identity from me, the experience I have under my belt, what am I left with? I'm left with this. This makes me uncomfortable as hell. And it's not because being with you is going to make me feel not warm and fuzzy. It's because feeling warm and fuzzy and not having to upkeep this big charade of how important I am or what I identify as, then this would maybe make me feel like kind of insignificant in some way. Like, what purpose do I have here? So the conditioning runs deep. I have to have purpose, and I have to fight for happiness, and I have to do all these things to upkeep some world. That's the way we live. That's the way we know we're doing something moral and just. That's the way we know we're valuable, is by the more we suffer, and the more we upkeep, the more just we are, moral we are, the more we lean into the environment of pain and suffering. It means we're just. It means we're fulfilling some sort of thing that the universe wants us to fulfill. No, that's twisted. It's twisted, twisted, twisted. And so this person is like woken up by this connection because it feels so good. And the universe wants this person to wake up and see, like, you can feel good and release and detach from all of this headache, all of this stuff you're trying to upkeep, all of this story you're telling yourself that your universe needs you. Detach, detach, detach. And why do we detach from this? Is because when we're identified with the matrix and all of the things and stories we tell ourselves, I'm the father, I'm the mother, I'm the spouse, I'm the uncle, I'm the teacher, I'm the janitor, whatever we tell ourselves, we start to believe that it's us, and it's not. And so waking up means cutting those cords, realizing who we truly are, and who we are is who we are in this present moment with nothing to do with the past. The past has nothing to do with who we truly are, and we can't connect to our authentic being if we're still identifying with the actions of the past, the version of me of the past. And so I feel like this person is running on a program of who they were told they had to be at one point in time. So their teacher told them who they had to be. Their dad told them who they had to be. Their guilt told them who they had to be. Their conditioned and programmed upbringing told them what they had to do and who they had to be in order to be a good person, in order to do something just, in order for them to win, in order for them to be valuable, or for them to succeed, or for them to be a something. You must do this. You must be like this. You must fulfill this. Not true. Not true at all. And so this person is really hung up on that idea of that. And so what's happening with this person now is, because of the fact that I'm thinking that's where my answer is, ironically, the more uncontent I feel, and the more I feel out of control. Because the universe is really showing to this person that you can't create peace and harmony by trying to control peace and harmony. Peace and harmony comes to you when you accept what is and work with what is in a way that is accepting. But once we start to resist, force, and try to coerce it and manipulate it, we're unhappy. So this person's really unhappy, and so they double down more. Now I got to be even more in that energy because my program was telling me that in order for me to be happy, I had to do the thing. And so they're still hanging on to the thing. The thing is what's causing the unhappiness. The thing is what's creating the distortion. The thing is what's making this person really, really not good. And it doesn't have to be so like dramatically not good where they're getting beat up by their environment. I feel like their environment is just boring as hell. It's something that, I mean, it's day one is boring. Day two is kind of still boring. Day three might be even more boring, but year one, year two, now it's excruciating. Year 10, shoot me now. Shoot me now. Okay, and so what do I cling to? I cling to living my life through the other things and the like this drama here. Now my brother's sick, and now my rent is due, and now I gotta shovel the neighbor's lawn. Like, I don't know. Dude, I'm tired. You will be my death. Yeah, and it's like they're understanding This is so weird. Their understanding is that all of the thing here that they have to service is the death of them. It's like, no, you're the death of you, because you're choosing to service those things. You're choosing to invest in those things. You're choosing to hang on to those things. You're choosing to give of yourself to those things. You don't have to. So who will be the death? You're your own death. And so Spirit's like, the sun's rising, you know, but I feel like it's in a state of frozen state. It's like, it's about to rise, and at any point we can turn and see the sunrise and enjoy the sunrise and go with the flow of that moment and enjoy the day. But I'm going to avoid the sunrise and stay in this purgatory nighttime, or whatever the fuck this is. But it's like, there is an element here of like doing the selfless act on the surface, but it really is not. Like it might seem righteous, but it's like, and no one is righteous, because when you peel it back, it's all about the self-serving thing. So it's like, look at me. I'm like doing all these wonderful things. I'm upkeeping, you know, my neighbor's lawn because they can't go out, and I get their groceries, and I house my mom, and I do all these things. It's like, it's look at me upkeeping this piece and making everyone else happy. And it's like, no, when you dig in the surface, it's not even about the neighbor or the mom or the brother or the sister. It's about some world I'm upkeeping of belief of myself that needs to come crumbling down. Something I need to accept, something I need to see, and I need to get out of my own way, my own stubborn way of thinking that was programmed into me that I keep replaying. And so I keep making the same decisions. And those decisions are creating the same reality. And I keep experiencing the same thing on replay. And it doesn't feel good. And so now here you are. This feels good. I can relax. Like, look at this. I don't got to worry about the neighbor. I don't got to worry about nothing. I just allow myself to be in the present moment completely. And this could be very scary and uncomfortable. So when we're experiencing trauma, okay, and I call this trauma. You can use whatever word you want, whatever. This is a shadow part of self, okay? Because we don't see that we're on some program. That's a shadow. That's a trauma. It's created by some distortion. And so when we experience this, my right ear is beeping, by the way. What was I going to say? Yeah, when we experience this, what was I going to say? We're being mirrored, this shadow part, by this connection in order for us to see something. Oh yeah, what I was going to say. And so over time, and it's interesting that Spirit was coming through with that analogy of day 1 is boring, day 2 is boring, year 1, year 10 is like, shoot me now, okay? Because it's like this temperature gauge that we turn up. And it's slow and slow. And so every day it turns up a little more discomfort, a little more discomfort, a little more discomfort, a little. And so by the time we're in this program for years or however long, we're sitting with the dial on max and vibrating with this tense energy, with this drama energy, and that becomes our norm. This is our state. And so when we experience this, and that's the dial is completely off, it's like, holy shit. You're telling me I was dialing on max and that this is normal state? Not doing anything, just being, allowing, not chasing, not forcing, not coercing, not upkeeping. This is natural state? Wow, like, what the fuck? I'm used to being on a heavy max dial. It's like the frog in the boiling water. When you put a frog into water, and you slowly turn up the heat, it takes some time, and the frog stays in there, and it doesn't realize it's slowly getting boiled to death, and it stays in there and dies. Poor froggy. But when you take a pot of water and you just boil the water and you put the frog in there, the frog's going to jump out right away. It's too hot. It's conditioned sort of energy. And so this conditioned energy over time has planted some reality in my mind that now I'm justifying through some stubborn way of being, some belief that's keeping it up, some story, some sort of thing that I have to allow the tower to fall, you know, but I'm justifying my reason to be there, telling myself that my position in that world is what's keeping it afloat and needs to be there. I need to be there. And so I know, I know that if I were to leave, I know what would happen. I know what is with this boar energy and this visionary. It's like, I know what's right. And it's like, well, you experienced this, so you're saying this is wrong? Well, no, but I know what's right here because I've experienced this thing. But it's like, no, you're identifying with this thing, thinking it's right, because that's the only thing you were programmed to know that is right. This is actually the thing, the energy of the dial on neutral, being, allowing. Okay, this is going to be a slow death because we just get too exhausted. So let's take a look with the tarot. Pile number 2, spirits, for pile number 2, what does pile 2 need to know about this person? Pile number 2's person that's pulling through here. What does pile number 2 need to know about this person and this misconception or this, and again, this is about where they're at, so we know how to deal with the person. And I say, so we know how to deal with them. I mean, you don't have to deal with anyone. If you want to leave this person to their suffering, then leave them to their suffering. But it's like, if we want to work with people, we need to meet them where they're at so that we can speak their language and understand what they're experiencing. There's the moon. I'm going to leave it like that. Cancer, Pisces energy. Moon's all about fears, and we're seeing things from a distorted point of view. Things that got buried in the subconscious, programmed in the subconscious, that now is the filter we use to see. And the filter we're using is one perception that it might not necessarily be in truth. And that's what this whole reading's about. These are what? New beginning. This is the sunrise energy. There's temperance in reverse. Sagittarius energy needs to get balanced. High priestess, Pisces energy, strong Pisces. Okay, this is the intuition. But this is also the things we can't see. So lots of intuition here, heavily, with the moon and the high priestess. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Now we have 2 new beginnings. Okay, so this is a block in manifestation, or blocking the seed of a new beginning in a practical way. We have 10 swords in reverse. That's the need to end something. The Knight of Cups in reverse. So this is like potentially blocking this. Because Knight of Cups, when it's in reverse, it's like I'm not allowing myself to express with emotions and chase up on my emotion here for whatever reason. There's 7 of Wands in reverse and 9 swords in reverse. Okay, so let me sit here with this energy. It's under Temperance in reverse, 4 swords in reverse. Okay, so this person is intuitively being called to take change and do different things. And I feel like there's a lot going on in the sleep state, which we got when we read this card, if you guys were with me in the card layout. Okay, I feel like this is almost like also esoteric sleep state, what we don't see, the moon, also what we don't see, what's going on in dreams, what Spirit's trying to feed us, Spirit's trying to say to this person. Okay, and like I'm getting again, for some of you guys, it's you. And we're creating stories for the world that we're upkeeping, because through the dream state, Spirit's really coming loud and clear with a need to make change. And this change is going to bring peace, even though it's very uncomfortable for this person. And they see it as a threat because their lens is all twisted here. Okay, they only see the threats in making change. They need to slow down. They need to reflect. I feel this person is like in this perpetual state of upkeeping that illusion or that understanding they have. And so they really need to stop their world and go into some form of reflection so that they can truly see how imbalanced they are. They need to heal this about themselves. And so this person cannot bring another side to an equation of a connection or relationship if they're out of balance. And so if this is you and you're wanting to get into some connection here, and you're like, why is it not working? Because Spirit knows you're imbalanced. Because your world is all screwy, Huey, and Louie. And why is it screwy, Huey, and Louie? Because the universe is trying to show you how to maintain a level of balance that isn't in a fight, fight, or flight mode. So you can have a new beginning and manifest this new beginning. Okay, back to your person. So why is your person all screwed up here? Is because they're resisting this manifestation of a new beginning. And I think they're resisting it energetically by not allowing the intuition to be seen and acted upon, and the dreams to become reality in the world, and saying, yes, spirit, yes, dreams, yes, I know my world is in a certain way. So I'm going to not be stubborn and double down and trying to service the world I know. I'm going to actually deal with putting an end to certain things in my world that are stressful, that I think need my support, that I believe strongly I'm upkeeping, but I have no control over, and I'm just going to put an end to that. And so how do I do this? Is by acknowledging what I'm actually feeling here. My heart's telling me what I need to do here. And I think by suppressing my feelings or my heart or where I'm being called to do, by suppressing that, I'm doing the right thing, because this other thing is more important, because that's what I believed. It's like, yeah, well, feelings come and go. You can't just act on your feeling. It's going to pass. You know, like this relationship is just, you know, I don't know, your passion talking or your desire, but you have a real world here, a real world of washing dishes. Who's to say what's real and not? And so this person feels there's some reality here that they're dealing with, and the universe is saying, no, it's actually your fear, your conditioning, your subconscious that's coming through. You need to surrender. You need to surrender. You need to let the tower fall. You need to accept some form of truth. And the only reason you're not is because you haven't gone far enough in the subconscious to acknowledge this dream and to make it a reality in your world, so that you surrender the things here that are stressing you out, that are creating imbalance, that you think you're a part of, that you're magically controlling. It's creating all sorts of stress. It's giving you dark night of the soul. And you're stuck in this perpetual nightmare. And it's all of your own doing, person. And so do you want this new beginning? It starts with planting this seed and manifesting this new beginning by going after what it is that we feel passionate about and following on that spark of desire that we feel, being honest with our emotions. And I feel like it's a connection that's done this. Like, this is what, or whatever makes me feel like this is what spirit wants this person to take action upon. That's their truest heart place of emotions calling them to do this. And it's like, well, that's too fantasy. They can't just go and do that and have no worries and sit in some utopian future. Okay, well, then they're just going to do this until they die. So choice is theirs. They're both realities. And the universe says you create the reality that becomes your reality. So why could they not do this? They could do this as much as the other person can upkeep the world. They're both equally as unlikely to happen. But the reality is ours to make. It's just one is socially accepted as some sort of construct because it's been accepted as real, and the other's fantasy. The other is fantasy. No, it's not. They're both real. And one's creating suffering and one's not. We choose. You will be my death. And so Spirit is saying the decision here is for this person to heal this program, to see through their filtration, to understand where they're creating this unnecessary burden of the way they deal with their drama in their life, so that once they see it, they can surrender. Not to keep the story of why it needs to be the way it is. No one in their world needs them to upkeep it. Their job doesn't need them to upkeep it. Nothing needs them. They might, like I said, like really want that story to be true because it gives them a sense of purpose, or they might just really believe it. But then why is it that Spirit is coming through very strong with dreams? And because we're getting 11, and I'm even seeing 11 from this number 2. 11, 11. So some of you guys might even signify with this being a twin flame with 11, 11. But 11, what does that mean? The dreams, the signs, the symbols, the synchronicities, it's all coming through very strong. And it's going to keep coming through for this person to make change. And then Spirit's going to use any form of communication for this person to make change. People, situations, dreams, whatever is going to have the most punch to impact, so this person can say, yeah, you know what? I'm really, really, really being guided to take action here. Like, I can't avoid it and ignore it or suppress this anymore. And I'm completely lopsided. So this person might have a burnout. This person needs to deal with the situation they're in. I think they're in some family situations, some setup situation that's calling them to take action. Yeah, and look, this King of Wands is like, I'm not going to pursue the thing because I have no confidence in getting that vision to the thing that actually I'm being called to do. And so I suppress that desire, and it's safer for me to stay in the world that I know, but it's at the expense of silencing some passion, at the expense of watering down my vision. So it's like I have this grand vision that could be happy and satisfying and bliss and all these things, but no, bliss doesn't come easy. Fighting and upkeeping dramas and tiring events, that's what we're conditioned to do, because that's reality. It's not reality. That's called suffering. And so Spirit's like, put an end to that. It's painful. It's the distorted viewpoint that this person has and how they're seeing the world. Strength. Yeah, the courage to face, sorry, because there's like I say, YouTube overlords don't like nudity. So the strength, Leo, this is like the courage to face what we need to. Okay, and so when we see the moon here, it's like we have to face what it is that really the subconscious is trying to keep hidden from us in some way, so that we protect ourselves, you know, rather than facing the thing we need to and being honest and playing devil's advocate and seeing the thing. It's sometimes we turn away from it. We don't want to see it because we're safer in some way, but really in the long run, it's not safer. It's not the healthy choice, because it's the choice here that keeps the status quo. And the status quo is the death of me. Death of this person, okay? And so this inventor is giving me Aquarius energy. This is a good time to amplify your focus and to clear and purify space in your world and in your mind to make way for something new. It's time for the new. It's time to think outside the box. It's time to not to do things how we've always done them before, because that's what we were told was right. And even with this ship is like movement. Like we got to allow ourselves to move, not to be stagnant, not to keep some world that we know. And make reasons and excuses here with this drama. And look, the 14, like I said, was temperance. And so it's all about healing, and it's all about balance, and it's all about coming into an energy here that then we are able to deal with partnerships and what the universe wants to give us is a blessing here. Love. You know, like whatever we're meant to receive in our world will come into balance when we're in the right energy. When we're not in the right energy, then we're sort of resisting it. And if this is your person, then they got to start to find a way to work through this energy, you know? So pile number 2, this is your reading. I hope this helped you, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, beautiful pile number 3. You guys pick the skeleton keys. All right, if my hands look red, it's because I was outside and it's minus 42 Celsius. It's freezing. My fingers were numb. I had to go outside. So, had a little pause in between readings. What are we doing? We're looking at the person on your mind, the person you came here about, and what is it that they're understanding about this connection, about you, and something that they're misinterpreting. So, this is coming from their perspective. Okay, now, this could be, you know, you're communicating something to them, thinking it's having one impact, and they're taking it and running with it completely different. Or it could just be, how are they perceiving this connection in a skewed way that's making them see something that's not there or that is threatening. But the whole sole purpose is for you to understand where this person's coming from so that you can meet them where they're at. You don't have to do anything. You don't got to stoop to anyone's level. You don't want to meet them wherever they're at. But if you want to work with people, you kind of have to meet them where they're at. Otherwise, you're on some planet and they're on another planet, and there's no communication. There's no flow. And so if you want things to work and flow, we kind of have to meet people where they're at. Okay. And so this doesn't mean it's true. It just means this is their understanding or their perception of something. And they've been pretty interesting. So let's take a look at this person. Okay. If it doesn't resonate, go to another pile. We'll put these cards down. We'll do the intuition tuning. And if this doesn't resonate, then like I say, just go to another pile. Okay. Don't force it to fit. So card number 1, we have cannabis. Cannabis sativa. Okay, interesting. This person might like to smoke. Maybe you like to smoke. Piles could be reversed, okay? But what is this? This could even be like a rebel, you know, like having a lot of purpose here, but being outlawed because of a misunderstanding. You know, we can make hemp everything, like but people fear it because of the stigma around it. Okay, anyway, let's keep going. So we have 10 Pentacles, trapping for survival. This is the edible wilderness. So what is 10 of Diamonds, 10 Pentacles? That's the family card. That's long-term legacy. Okay, it says trapping techniques described below are only for wilderness survival situations. Obey the regulations on trapping in areas you are visiting. The advantage of trapping strategy, snares, box trap, pole trap, Ojibwe trap, ground snare. Okay, so this is talking about creating traps, but it's talking about what did it say here? It said obey the regulations. So we can have smoking outlawed in certain areas here, smoking cannabis. And look at that mushroom and fungi safety. So this person might smoke some weed, might do some shrooms. There's a lot of drugs coming through here. Drugs. Okay, so 8 of spades, 8 swords. So 8 swords could be a limitation, a limiting belief. Interesting. What does it say about the mushroom and fungi? So mushrooms are all interconnected. It says some mushrooms can be extremely hazardous or even deadly when consumed. Only eat mushrooms you have positively identified yourself. I wouldn't even do that. I'd be too scared to positively identify it myself. The universal edibility test does not work with fungi or mushrooms. Interesting. Okay. Cosmos. Oh my goodness. Look at this vast card of the universe. As above, so below, I just heard. Hermit crab. So you would think a hermit crab is sort of protected in its little shelter, but actually hermit crabs come out of their shelters and they go find different objects to use as their home. But they do come out, they do wander, but they kind of go from thing to thing to sort of create their abode, protect themselves. This could be a transient energy of someone who likes to sort of go about. 18, the initiate. So 18 is the card of the hermit or the moon in the tarot. The initiate, it says, acknowledge what you do not know and learn with a beginner's mind so you can become accepted as an authority one day. Okay, that's an interesting energy. Acknowledge what you do not know and learn with a beginner's mind so you can become accepted as an authority one day. It's almost like what I read there, like eat only mushrooms, you have positively identified yourself. It's like you have to develop the confidence to do something here and be a beginner. And if you're a beginner, you might screw up. But in the case of the mushrooms, you might die from a screw up here. You learn to become confident and take charge. Okay. Hathor, receptivity. Allow yourself to receive. This will increase your intuition, energy, and ability to give to others. So it seems like someone's lacking confidence here, or they're in a beginner state, and so it's blocking some form of ability to give to this connection because they're blocked in receiving. Receptivity is feminine energy, and we were getting with the 19. Where was 19? Or sorry, 19. 9. Did I say 19? All over the place. I'm sorry, guys. 18, number 9, which is the moon energy. So moon is emotions. Moon is feminine energy with this receptivity. Hermit as well, which is reflecting and enlightened. So we have the snapdragon, and I don't know how to read the plant name for this. It says graciousness and benevolence. No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. Oh my goodness. Aesop. So remember how I was saying, I don't know if you sat throughout the deck part of this when I was showing the decks, but I was saying there was a lot of plant energy pulling through. And so cannabis is a plant, and we're getting the snapdragon plant. And then the edible plants were pulling through here, even though this one's coming through a trapping. I must have said maybe people like gardening or something to do with plant life. But yeah, like we're getting a lot of plants here. Something growing organically in some way here. Not enough. Frustrated in relationship, lack of confidence. We were certainly feeling that. Self-sabotage. So I can't receive, therefore I can't give. Fear, ego issues, and jealousy. Okie dokie. So we have the shaman, number 16 or the number 7. 7's about faith, wisdom, reflection, which is hermit, and understanding. It's also chariot energy, which is integration of shadow. And so shadow could be lack of confidence. Shadow could be ego stuff, right? Fears. In order to integrate so we can find balance and be victorious in our achievements. Shaman's all about healing and potentially providing healing to others. Mystical energy here. We see the snake, all about healing and wisdom. Resin. So this is like something that gets frozen in time here in a state, but it's like that state is untouched in that form. So it could be an experience of the past that stays frozen in some capacity here, untouched. So we have 38 or the number 11. Okay. And we have child wounded. Light attributes: awakens compassion and desire to serve other wounded children, opens the learning path of forgiveness. Shadow attributes: blames all dysfunctional relationships on childhood wounds, resists moving on through forgiveness. So something happened here that's frozen, that's never got integrated, potentially, or resolved or healed. And so I remember it as it was, and it's fresh it was, or it's causing an obstruction or a block as it is. That requires some form of forgiveness so I can move, just have success, integrate, and be able to receive and give and work on my confidence here. Yeah, something with the family here as well. Okay, and so we have child eternal. Lots of child energy. So, and this was even giving me infant stage, like learning something here, something they're learning. Okay, light attributes: determination to remain young in body, mind, and spirit, ability to see things with fresh eyes. Shadow attributes: inability to grow up and be responsible, extremely dependency on others for physical security. Some of these people might have a dependency on smoking the reefer to numb themselves out of this world. Warrior. Light attributes: strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will. Heroism, stoicism, and self-sacrifice in conquering the ego. The ego coming through again. Shadow attributes: trading ethical principles for victory at any cost. Indifference to the suffering inflicted on others. So what's really pulling through is when I don't give here, it's really because I can't receive. And so I'm choosing that more thing that feels right for me. But it's at the risk of what? Making someone maybe feel like the short end of the deal here, you know? But this is like trading the fear, like accepting the fear rather than doing the thing that might be more stand up. Okay. Mirage. So the mirage talks about what? The illusion. We see it, we believe it to be real. The closer we get to it, and then it dissipates. But if we stay from our point of view, we never identify that it's a mirage and we keep acting like it's real. We keep acting like it's real until we actually get to it. I might be too scared to walk towards it if the mirage is too scary. So the nostalgia card, we have CDs and DVDs. So I'm really getting, because the CDs is like audio and DVDs is, well, audio and video, but it's a replay of something that is set in some way. We can't go and change the CD or the DVD once it's published or printed. It's that in which fits its thing, right? So when you play it, it's always that same voice. It's always that same movie. It's always that same recording. So if I have this unhealthy memory or this unhealthy thing, because this is the nostalgia of what I tell myself or what I was taught or what I experienced, it replays in that same exact way. And it's a mirage. Okay, this is really clear here, you guys. You guys probably already know sitting through this card layout because it all sort of barfed out pretty clearly. But if you want to go straight to the channeling, you can click on that timestamp, and I will get into that once I sit with this energy and see what pulls through. Okay, beautiful people. I really like this gentle soul, very gentle soul here, but it's kind of get in their own way. So your person here experienced a past, most likely in childhood here, okay? An event in their life that replays, and it's a memory that's programmed into who they think that they are. And so it's an illusion of, well, I'm getting a lot with this mirage, but when we believe what's happened to us as being a real thing, we carry that, and we carry it throughout our lifetime. And we could carry it from when we're 6 years old, whenever the event happened, all the way to 100. And it makes no sense, and it doesn't apply to any other year except for when we were 6 years old and our parents planted some seed, said something, whatever. The teacher, the person we trusted, the adults that knew better told us something. Whatever we experienced created the fragmented energy or the block or the belief I had that I always heard my teacher's voice or that adult's voice, relived that experience, and I never healed it. And so all it did was it formed my life. And so I feel this person's life was formed around what they experienced here. And I do feel it was in childhood. And so I feel like there's a part of this person that's having a difficult time growing up. Okay, and they don't grow up because I feel like they're, they might make all sorts of reasons why they can't or whatever, okay? Like there's a beautiful innocence to this person, one, okay? Because I do feel like this person has like an ability to see things from a child's perspective, which is great because, you know, a lot of us have challenges being like a child. Okay, so that's great because I do feel there's something very freeing about this person. You know, they like to be free, a free soul. Could even be like sort of hippie energy even, okay, if we want to use that term. But it's a beautiful energy here. Okay, innocence and freedom. But is this person really free? No, and I think there's a big, that's a big sort of, if you want to call it a misnomer here, because no matter how free they might think they are or pretending to be in some world, even though I don't think they're putting on a show by any means, but the show that they're actually really putting on, whether they're aware of it or not, is a version of themselves that's trapped in time of an experience. And so they don't have confidence in themselves. They think they're incapable of being an adult or growing up or doing things in some way. So they're lacking a lot of confidence. Okay, this is a limiting belief, and so it holds them back in life. And it's like, if you're in a connection with this person, then it's like, they're like an infant here in connection, you know, whatever your relationship is with this person. And so it's like, because I don't know, because I tell myself I'm limited, because I haven't experienced, the only thing that I have experienced is telling me otherwise. Therefore, I freeze or just don't participate, and I'm held back or just restricted by my limitation. And so therefore I cannot, like with this receptivity, I feel like this person has a difficult time allowing themselves to receive anything different than what they're used to coming in, which has been something that's been fairly unhealthy because it hasn't allowed them growth. And so if I can't receive anything new, because one, I don't think I'm deserving, two, I don't even recognize how I could do a receiving of anything good if I feel I only deserve a certain level, right? So it's like I'm putting limitations or boundaries on how much I can intake. And sometimes I don't intake it at all because maybe I feel not deserving in some way. Okay, deep in the shadow, they would never say, no, I'm not deserving of love. Of course, everyone thinks they're deserving of love, but that's where the shadow sits. It's the sabotage. And so it's difficult for this person to receive fully, openly. Okay, and I feel like there's challenge with emotions as well. And so therefore this person I feel isn't one that's capable of producing forward, isn't capable. Everyone's capable, but they feel incapable of giving or allowing themselves to give and contribute energy because according to them, they don't know how, or they're lacking some understanding of how to be an equal participant. So they might put you on a pedestal. They might think they're not in the game. They might see themselves in one way. Okay, so now they have eyes of a child, but the way they see themselves is sort of the 6-year-old them, no matter how old they are or whatever. The 19-year-old them, the 10-year-old them, the them that had the trauma. that created some blockage, a belief that replays, holds them back, and doesn't let them be accountable, keeps them in Peter Pan syndrome, okay, probably smoke a lot of reefer. And now this person, okay, this could just be symbolic of I distract myself and I go into the cosmos and I don't know, I read a lot of books, or I go into fantasy and play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know. I watch a lot of movies until I make up a world that I'm like on my own little island, some fantasy land. That could be symbolic of this distraction, okay? I'm not judging anyone here that smokes, but everything in moderation. If we use it as an out, then we're not facing our life. This person's not facing their life. And so why not is because the version of me that I see that I have to be, I can never attain. I can't be that version of me. Like, this feels very sad because, one, no one's expecting them to be this version but themselves. And this version of themselves that they think they have to reach, they'll never reach, they can't attain, because it's just a figment of their imagination that they'll keep trying to be and attain and chase, and it eludes them. So if I keep striving to be something that's unattainable, I keep staying in lack of confidence. Like, I keep shooting myself down. I'll never reach it, and I'll forever be not good enough. Like, that's really sad, because it's like one day this version of me could be something that I could be. And I feel because we asked about this connection, it's like they have an idea of who they have to be here. And so I could really see that maybe in this dynamic with this person, like, how could it ever change from where it's at? This could be someone who you might have spent a very long time with, and they just didn't ever change, because they will never make the change of growth here until they identify where it is that they're constantly in this sort of trying to chase something that doesn't exist. The limitation has to be identified for there to be the change. So it's not like they see this version and somehow they work towards it and they're that version. It's like, I see that version and it keeps eluding me and I can never reach it. And so therefore, what you see is what you're going to constantly get. And it's this person who is stuck in an infant stage, who's not grown up in some way. So either emotionally, they're not grown up. Like I experienced where my parents separated, and it was so traumatic to me, and I never processed it. And so therefore, I never grew up from that point when it comes to my belief or understanding about relationships, marriage, or connection. It's always stayed in that state. It's never developed past that. Now, if I was, God forbid, let's say abused as a child, now I never went past that physical, whatever. If it was sexually abused, then my sexual ability to go deep will only be to the capacity in which I experienced that trauma, and now I can't grow past that. If it was mental abuse, then it's like I distract myself in a mental world here because I can't go past that mental capacity. If it was whatever abuse, okay, I'm not saying your person was abused, but I feel like something was traumatic. And so abuse happens in many different ways when there's a trauma and we don't deal with it, right? Whether it was intentional abuse or a thing that happened where our parents just separated. No one was trying to abuse, but if this child never got a voice, never communicated how it impacted them, if they didn't feel safe, if suddenly they didn't feel loved, if suddenly they didn't feel wanted, if suddenly they felt whatever they felt. And I feel like this person experienced something that they might not even recognize is still trapped. They might think, yeah, my parents divorced, but I'm perfectly fine. That might be their understanding of it. But as we know, especially if we go through like hypnotherapy, or if we're very familiar with shadow work or traumas of the past, we know that even though on the surface we feel like we've overcome a lot of the trauma, because we're consciously aware, it's like in the subconscious, that fragmented energy still needs to merge. It still needs to be let out. So this is like feminine healing, okay? The feminine healing is when we release that emotion, that trapped energy, it has to be flushed out. It has to be integrated. It has to be seen. Okay. And then the masculine healing would be where we understand the root and we understand how things trigger us. And we start to psychologically sort of understand why we engage in certain ways. And the next time we smoke and we say, I understand now I'm using this as a distraction because mentally, I conceptually am awake to the fact that I'm doing this. That's masculine healing. And now we're asking questions and now we're awake in the mind. Okay. But when we're asleep in the mind, we just sort of keep smoking, keep distracting, keep going to fantasy. We don't even understand why we're doing this. And with the emotions, we never flushed out the crying of the divorce or the crying of the abuse or the whatever. And so it's trapped. Okay. And we might have felt we let it out. And so when we deal with the feminine healing, we cried, when I was a teenager, my parents divorced, I cried, I let it out, and now I feel perfectly fine. But I didn't recognize the masculine healing. And so therefore I got triggered again later in life when I was in my 20s. And I don't know, and I had a relationship and that didn't work. And now it triggered the trauma within me. And so it triggered the trauma within me and then it all bubbled up again. So we can't just do the feminine healing and cry about it and let it out and then think it's gone forever. The feminine healing releases some of that emotion. But unless we deal with the masculine healing and understand ourselves and connect to this part, then we've kind of done half the healing and then it fills up again. The emotion fills up again. The roots never got resolved. Okay, like truly understanding, and maybe this is like understanding at a mental level, like, okay, well, my parents were unhappy and this is kind of what happened, it had nothing to do with me. And now I conceptually understand because I've made peace, I forgive. However, I make peace with it and reconcile it. Now I've gone to the root. Okay, and I give the analogy of the house, which I used a couple of times here. It's coming through. It's like, let's say you have a flooded house. You can't live in that flooded house. Okay, the flooded house, the water's in there, or the emotions, and they're all trapped. And so you got to open the windows and the doors to let all of that emotion out. Feminine healing, let it all out. But if you close the windows and doors again, that house is going to fill with water unless you turn off the water source, which is the masculine healing. And so it's equally important to let out the water with the windows and doors and let it flush out. But now we go to the root and we deal with the root and turn off the water supply. Okay. And so this is shadow work. And so I feel like this person hasn't done the shadow work around some sort of trauma that they're needing to heal. I feel there's something very mystical about this person. They could potentially be a healer. But I think this person self-heals and self-soothes, however they do. I feel there's something very, very magical about this person. I feel like this person might even be good with like herbs and like natural medicines. They might be very natural, like natural healing, and might be against, like the pharmaceuticals. And yeah, there's something very natural and pure with this person that's absolutely beautiful. Like even with this child, I feel their natural essence is beautiful. Okay, but I feel like this person might have had a lot of homes or never really belonged or felt like they couldn't really trust people to protect them. And so I feel like this person would love to be, like nurtured in some way. So they probably like nurturing. And so if you're a nurturing soul, you might have like a parent-child dynamic with this person because it's like you're warm, you're safe, you're nurturing potentially to this person. And it's like I've never really been able to find a warm and nurturing sort of place. And so I've been searching, or I just keep, going to find it. But as we know, like we can't externally find that in which is going to bring us peace. What's going to bring us peace is resolving this thing, resolving this belief of an identity that I think I need to be someone different than who I actually am. And the only reason this person thinks they need to be something that's out there, that they need to strive for, that can't be them, and they got to morph into it, is because they have the misbelief that they're carrying this, that they're not good enough. And so I really feel this is almost like I was abandoned or not protected because I wasn't good enough, and so they carry this I'm not good enough energy. And no matter how much they might put on the show of whatever, deep down, I'm always trying to strive to feel welcome and loved and good enough. But if I never feel it, it doesn't matter who I attach to, even you, even if you make me feel safe. If I don't believe I'm good enough, confident enough, capable enough, competent enough, then it doesn't matter. I will still carry this thing within me. You can't pull this thing out of me. I could still feel safe in your presence, but I still have this belief that's not true. So I got to deal with this belief. But I feel like this person does feel safe in your presence, but I feel like, I don't know how long they've been wandering. And I feel like their childhood might have been very turbulent or just didn't feel safe. And if it wasn't the childhood, then it's like they came into this lifetime with a bunch of trauma, ancestral wounds, some form of trauma that didn't allow them to feel safe in their environment or have to, I don't know, go from place to place in some way. And so this person might have the type of energy that likes to sort of roam in some way, but I don't know if they like to or that they just feel they don't belong. And so they're always in this sort of roaming energy. But I feel like this person isn't really getting anywhere because the only thing they're running away from is this thing, so that they feel eventually I'll find the place where I belong and feel safe. But it's like you'll be looking till the ends of the earth because what you're looking for doesn't exist. You're never going to reach the state of the comfort that you're thinking is solitary, like the place you hang your hat on, because you're running away from the thing that needs to get looked at. And then where you can hang your hat is of your own choice, of your own making, because you have your own abode, you have your own protection, you have your own strength. So I feel like this person feels on their own. They don't have the strength either, or like there's something about them that is not, I don't know. It's hard to put a word to it because it does come with this lack of confidence. But it's like, when the hermit crab leaves its shell and then it's just like this like a rinky dinky looking thing and it looks completely different. I don't know if you've ever seen a hermit crab, right? And so the shell's all this big thing and then you see these legs and it just looks kind of scary. And then if you remove the shell, it's like this little like dit, 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 dit. So this person feels like, I don't know, that they look ridiculous or they feel like weak or the real them is puny. Like, I don't know where these words are coming from. Puny, weak. I don't know. And it's like, it doesn't mean that they are like that they're even acting in this way. Like when you talk to this person, I don't feel this person would be like in that energy, saying like, oh, I'm puny, I'm weak. No. But it's like inside where the trauma is, it's like there's a part of me that feels ridiculous, that feels weak, or that feels like it's not enough in some way. And the version of me that can be in a world of adults is a future version of me that I can never really strive to be. So some of these people that I'm tapped into here might have given up on themselves. And so here I sit in my imaginary fantasy world because I've already tried for years and years, depending how old your person is, and I can't reach this. Of course they can't. It's a mirage. It's an unrealistic thing that they created of a version of themselves that they think that they need to be. They'll never reach that. So therefore I gave up and I think, man, I'm never going to be good enough. So now I'm just going to focus on the fantasy world. And for others of you guys, if your person is still striving to be this person, so they're going to burn themselves out. It doesn't exist. And so I think in this connection, regardless of where your person fits, whether they're, like I said, like gone around and around trying to realize whether they could do this or not, I think in this connection specifically, this person has an understanding of who they have to be in order to give and receive in this connection and be open to feeling emotions and contributing. And so they just either gave up or feel like they're insignificant in some way. And so for some connections here, this person doesn't try at all. Like at all. And it's like, yeah, but you could just be who you are. And that could be enough. Well, it should be enough if we love them and accept them. But it's like, since I feel like whatever I contribute is not good enough at all, I just won't even give it all. I won't even be at all. I won't even engage at all. I won't even whatever at all. And it's like, what? It's like no act of kindness, no matter how small, is wasted. And so I feel like this person could eventually build on their confidence. And so if you've been with this person for some time and you are a safe place, this could give this person enough reflecting in order for them to slowly but surely build on their confidence and heal themselves through love, through understanding emotions in order for them to be able to feel safe enough. Because I don't know that this person ever had a safe abode for them to experience this thing. You know, who they truly are, look at their limitations, where did it stem from? You know, like, and I feel like security does matter to this person. Building a structure, like the hermit crab needs that shell and it keeps trying to find it. Trapping for survival. Okay, and so also what was coming through was this unruliness. So it's like, I don't follow the rules. And so this person might even like, it's like the Peter Pan syndrome, but it's like this person might be somebody who does childish things too. Like, I don't know, like, you know, I don't know, hangs out with younger crowds or steals cars. Like, it doesn't have to be that extreme, but you know what I mean? Like something, you know, when you're an adult, you kind of grow out of. I don't know. Like this is judgment, you know, like I'm saying they play Dungeons and Dragons, but it's like, okay, adults do this, but I don't know, maybe play video games. Like I know some adults do that too, so that's a bad example, but there's some need to, and not even need, if they want to play video games and they like Dungeons and Dragons, I'm not condoning they steal cars, but I don't know, hang out at the mall with their friends, collect Pokemon cards. I don't know what the thing is, but I don't grow up out of it, you know? But I feel like it comes with a ring of, fuck the system, you know, like, anarchy. I don't know, spray painting, you know, screw the establishment. So we have that. And then we have that. And so the biggest thing here, I feel that's misconstrued is that I'm not enough because I lack in confidence and I have an idea of who I think I have to be. And therefore, I sabotage and trade. I'm trading myself in some way here because this is really hitting hard, this part here. Trading ethical principles for victory at any cost. So no matter how much I love you, or no matter how much it is that I know the right thing sort of feels right or could do, I trade it all because of this other feeling and this trauma that I have. And that's so sad, you know? And so it could be somebody that really sabotages, like hardcore indifference to the suffering inflicted on others. So yeah, it's like, and I know this would cause you pain, you know? And it's like, but I do it all the time, or I still choose to protect myself in this way. And so if we're on the other side of this person, it's like, wow, like I can't believe this person did that. Like this would be someone, for example, I don't know, let's say for a whole half a year, you've been planning some sort of party, okay? I don't know, like a celebration, an anniversary, and this person knew about it, and you've been planning and planning and planning, and then this person is like last minute, they get hungover and drunk and, I don't know, stoned out of their mind, and then they just don't show up to the party. But yet the whole 6 months, this person was saying they'd be there, and they'd pump you up. That's this type of energy. Okay? And so, big heart, but do they let themselves down and they create suffering? And so you're going to suffer here because that's a big letdown, right? And this person can justify why they missed it. I'll wait till the cows come home. But it was the pain that was brewing from the trauma that never got dealt with, that at the last moment decided to make the poor decision. Okay, and they can justify and just say, oh, I had one drink too many, or I did the one thing and that just so happened to coincide. It's like, no, but you chose to do the thing. You chose to hurt me. And why the person chose to hurt you wasn't because they wanted to maliciously hurt you. It was because underneath that, it was like, if I was there, I don't feel like I'm worthy or capable of being there at that celebration, especially if it was, let's say, one about them or whatever. In that, I feel like an imposter. So I'm going to sabotage me being there, you know? So it's not about me trying to inflict pain on you. I'm so uncomfortable in that energy because it doesn't feel like I'm worthy of that whole world, and I'm an imposter pretending. And so therefore I will sabotage. Yeah, it's limiting this person. And so I feel like also with this like deadly mushrooms and the non-deadly mushrooms, it's coming through like the way that they see things or engage with things, it's so sabotagey because they could do things that could be irreversible in some way to really ruin a connection. Like if you eat that mushroom, you're dead. You know, like the mushroom that's poisonous. It's like they play Russian roulette with relationships in some way. And it's not that they want to lose people. In fact, they want the opposite. But it's like if I play Russian roulette and you're still sort of around here, then I know it's like safer in some way, you know? But it's like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because if you play Russian roulette, eventually there's going to be a bullet and that's going to ruin your environment. And it's like, I'll keep pushing that environment out because, like I said, it's a mirage, something we can never achieve. So it's like a perfection I can never achieve. It's a version of me that I'm putting a bar out there of what I have to do in order to fulfill any relationship or any, like I say, any relationship, but any of this type of connection that I have with you. I have one understanding of who I need to be in order to check all these boxes of what I think you need from me in my mind, in my story, in my replay. I have a version of what I need to do and be, and I don't quite know how to get there, but I do know how to play Russian roulette and sabotage. And also the deadly mushroom is kind of also like, they might feel like they can ruin things. Like, it's like the self-fulfilling prophecy, because it's like you can't really ruin a connection, really. Like, if you're not sabotaging. Like, let's say you're authentic, I'm authentic, and I really happen to get, I don't know, into a car accident and I couldn't make this celebration we talked about. You wouldn't hold me accountable for that. Like, I know I wouldn't hold you accountable, like, unless, of course, someone has a big ego and they're all bum hurt by, like, someone not showing up to their party. But it's like, if I truly got into some sort of an accident, we see beyond that. We accept that the person was in some accident and we don't pass the judgment. And so I feel like this person thinks that their faults and their follies can't be accepted and moved beyond or looked beyond. And therefore, they're just deserving of condemnation in some way or judgment, or like their shadow is unacceptable. It's like they're not unacceptable. They need to be loved and accepted for who they are. But this person needs to be who they are first, not the traumatized version of who they are. You know, like, who are they? Like, who are they? Do they even know who they are? Because the only they know is the they that's lacking confidence, is the they that's, I don't know, telling themselves something that's untrue. I don't know, guys. Interesting. Let's see. Spirit, clear and concise message for the greatest and highest bit of pile number 3. This person that I'm reading, their misconception here. So how this ties to you is like you're the one that's reflecting this back to me. Like, this is already there before your time, okay? Unless, of course, you're this person's parent or you created this complex with this person, but I don't think you created this complex. But it's like, is this your connection misinterpreting in their way? Is because your energy and my understanding of what you mean to me takes me back to this. And then I project onto this understanding of who I need to become. Not that you tell me I need to become, but I tell myself. And so therefore you symbolize and bring out this part of myself. And I have to acknowledge this thing, because this thing is the death of me. This thing is the reason I sabotage. This thing is the reason why I might be dependent on substances. This is the reason why I have a lack of confidence and are incapable of letting people in, or receiving good things, or connecting to emotions with other people, or accepting my faults, and feeling like I'm not worthy of love, or worthy of people, or worthy of feeling safe, or worthy of hanging out in a safe, comfortable environment. I feel like I gotta go keep finding a different home. Like I'm not welcome anywhere. Like this person doesn't feel welcome. And so this could be why they hang out with their world of fantasy, because there I'm welcome. There's no judgment. There I could be my deadly self, you know, with all of my shadows and lack of confidence and traumas, and I don't have any expectations, and and that's the Peter Pan. I have no expectation. I have no responsibility. I have nothing to live up to. That's good. The minute there is something I have to live up to, I know I'm going to fail automatically, because I have a lack of self-confidence. And so if I know I'm going to fail, I don't want to fail. Who wants to fail? Not me. Especially if I feel connected to you. It's like, I don't want to let you down. I don't want you to see me failing. Like I'd be a failure. Yucky. Okay, so let's see. Pile number 3 is person. And what is this misconception? Can we see what it is that I'm missing here in this reading? That pile number... Spirit? No. Okay. The pile number 3 needs to understand about this person and this misconception in this connection, and how it is that this person for pile 3 is understanding themselves. Judgment. Oh my goodness. So judgment is like truth with the capital T. Okay. So truth with the capital T is seeing everything sort of as it is. Everything I've experienced, your story, my story, our history, my past, and I'm at a pivotal point here where I'm having a realization and an understanding. This is like an aha moment, a big understanding based on facts and experiences that have happened, so that I could come up with some form of understanding. Okay, so the Knight of Wands, under the Knight of Wands, we have the 10 Pentacles coming out again. So we have 2 10 Pentacles. So like I said, that's the family card. It could be the building of the structure of the family. Something taking very long here. Look at the 2 people. Okay, so let's see. What does this mean? Knight Wands, 10 Pentacles, Justice in reverse. Okay, Libra. The Lovers in reverse, Gemini. 4 Pentacles in reverse. Oh yeah, Judgment there. The High Priestess in reverse. Oh my goodness, Pisces energy. King of Pentacles in reverse. Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. Queen of Swords in reverse. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And 3 Swords in reverse. So the only cards in the upright we have here is Judgment, the 10 Pentacles, and the Knight of Wands. And the Queen of Cups. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. What's under that? The Knight of Swords in reverse. Okay. Let me sit here with this, because there's lots pulling through. Six of Wands in reverse. Okay. Although we're seeing lots of reversals, the most important thing we're seeing here is Judgment in the upright. So this is good, because what I'm recognizing and seeing, says this person, is what was happening in my world. Okay, and I think they're actually seeing what was happening in their world. So you might have been a pivotal point, or a very important sort of key point in this person's world. Okay, because I feel like if you're giving this person this motherly love with this Queen of Cups, because I was really feeling your energy from this, like a safe place, motherly, could be, like I said, a mother-child sort of dynamic here. I feel safe in your presence. I feel like your family. I feel like, you know, like you're committed to me. Like I can work with you, no matter how long this is sort of taking here. And I see where I didn't succeed with the Six of Wands in reverse and this Knight of Swords in reverse. Like I ran, I didn't confront what I needed to. I failed you. I failed you because I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to fail. And so I failed anyway by not wanting to fail because I ran and didn't do what I could have done or faced what I could have. And so here I am, wanting to do more, wanting to be more, wanting to come in line with you or work with you or pair up with you in this world of love that I feel from you. Okay, but I have to look at what wasn't working. And what wasn't working here was I was unjust in dealing with you because I wasn't capable of providing this equal reciprocity and giving. And it created massive imbalance by not going down the path or choosing you as a viable lover. And when I say lover, I use this loosely because lover could be a destined person, partner, path to our future that opens a doorway to a different experience. Okay, it could be a relationship, whatever. The relationship with you, the connection with you was at a halt or imbalance and not progressed until I learned to let go and realize that I was hanging on to my comfort zone or my blanket of security. And so my blanket of security, I'm realizing here, look at this face, this tells it all. This does not feel good. No matter how many Pokemons I collected, gotta catch them all. No matter how many reefers I smoke, no matter how many movies I watch, no matter how many cars I broke into, I don't know what this person's thing is, how many malls I went with my friends, whatever. The thing that I did, that I do for comfort, okay? Like, look, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. And I'm realizing how unhappy I am. And what I wasn't seeing was you. What I wasn't seeing was I was this hermit crab, knowing that I'm going from that shell to shell and wanting that sort of feeling and always never feeling welcome and being, I don't know, having to go from one place to another here. And it doesn't feel comfortable, maybe exposing myself in some, I don't mean like nudity, but exposing myself like maybe periods of time in my life where I had to be vulnerable, you know, where I had no one to depend on or where the shelter wasn't provided. And so I was kind of like in and out of safe places, you know, safe relationships or safe friendships or safe situations where I was like, oh, I could trust this person. And it's like all of a sudden then that person betrays me. And it's like, oh, now I'm the hermit crab without the shell again. And then I go to another commune or another friend group and another. And it's like, da, 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 da. So whatever I was doing here became my world that I knew, and I can't trust people or that I'm not good enough to create some form of something. And so I wasn't seeing that you were actually the real deal. And so I refused to listen to my intuition. I didn't see, I didn't give, I didn't entertain. And so I didn't commit to you, and I didn't provide an energy here that you could rely on. This is father energy. This could be a marriage. This is definitely talking about a family. Okay, this could be a partner. Like, I don't know if you're this person's partner, but they certainly see you as their mother or their family. And so I want to be your dependable partner here. Like, why not? Why not me? Why can't I be someone here that you can commit to and rely on, which is totally different than what we're seeing here? Because this was like, I am so don't know. And maybe this person still doesn't know, you know? And I know it's in reverse, but it's like, I'm coming to the understanding that why can't I provide? Why didn't I see? Why I still don't know how I'm going to be this person, but why can't I? And so you didn't get any clarity about what I could provide or who I could be. Like, could you rely on me? Was I someone that you could build with? Like, you weren't given any sort of clarity. You weren't in the know. You were kept in the dark, because I was sort of in the dark because I didn't understand and I wasn't confident in my own ability to. And even though I still don't see how I can, I'm coming to understand what you mean to me. And why can't I? And so I want to do this. Okay, I want to do this. And I know I have pain here. I know I have trauma. I know I have stuff that needs to get resolved. And so I'm now aware of my challenge. Wow. So I'm aware of my challenge, and I'm aware that my challenge got in the way of me choosing you. And I'm aware that my challenge got in the way of me seeing you how you are worthy of being seen. And all because I feel this person feels that you've been in this beautiful energy of unconditional love, all this green, compassionate, making space and acceptance for this person, no matter their running, no matter their failures, no matter their whatever's, inability to commit or show up or be dependable or not see or to go against their intuition and be a little brat. 4 of Swords in reverse. Yeah, so they need to take the time in order to heal this thing. So they still haven't cracked open this resin or dealt with the replaying lack of confidence in their mind. And I feel like this person is getting frustrated with themselves, and they're learning to, like recognize where their world is making them unhappy and where they got to release in order for them to be more in line with what feels good. Because I feel like this feels good. You feel good. Okay. But this person has to find their own strength. But it's like, if I go and I hermit crab under your shell, I'm under your blanket here, and it's like, okay, but this person still needs to deal with the flooding here and the root problem, because whether they're just going to hang out here under your shell, it feels good, but they need to deal with their trauma. Okay. So, but first step is recognizing and even acknowledging that there's something here. And so I think with the Judgment, it's like, I see the trauma. Good. Okay, but do they want to do anything with the trauma? I don't know. Let's see. Spirit, what does pile number 4 they need to know about this person? Wow, this is turning into the saga reading. And I only got 3 piles, thank God. Spirit, pile number 3's person. What is pile number 3 needing to know then about this person? And what it is that this person is understanding, and how it is that this is going to play out. So, I still feel like I crossed the keys. Okay. Again, 10 Pentacles. It's like, keeps showing up here. You know what I keep hearing too? It's like the 10 Pentacles is like the lottery win of the tarot. Okay. And so I feel this person feels they won the lottery here with you. They really do. Look at that face. So I don't feel it's like, oh, I taken advantage of. I feel like this person just feels like, I feel it's like almost, you feel out of my league, and somehow you're here and you're wanting to be beside me. And so there's this like, I just feel so, I don't know, like they could feel very awkward for some time, but now it's like I've gone past my awkward stage, and now it's like I'm here just enjoying this lottery, like, I don't know. It's like, I do feel like it's almost imposter syndrome too, but it's like, I'm still happy with the lottery. I'm not going to resist the lottery. There's the King of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, the Devil in reverse, Capricorn energy, Knight of Pentacles, the Magician. So that's a Virgo, Gemini. I feel we're going to put one more row here. 7 Wands, 2 Cups, and the Sun in reverse, and bottom of the deck is the Chariot, and under the Chariot we have Temperance. Okay, so we have Cancer, Sagittarius, Leo, Capricorn, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Gemini, and Virgo. So let's see. Okay, it's really cute, you guys. Really, really cute. This person doesn't feel at your level, but they're coming up beside you. I feel this person's a fighter. Okay, and they're coming up beside you because I feel this person wants to be your equal. Even though it's imposter syndrome, and it's like, I need to understand how I can muster myself up and use my tools in order to come up to pile number 3's level. And so I feel this person's consistent with this warrior energy and this Knight of Pentacles. So, and I feel with all the 10 Pentacles, it's been a long time of effort on this person's half. But it's like, what's the effort? To be yourselves doesn't require any effort, but it's like the self that they know. is the self that they've been in. And so to be anything other than that self requires effort. You know, like for me to get out of my own replay and the trauma and all that, I have to make an effort in telling myself I am good enough, or like overcome the voice that tells me I'm inadequate, you know? And so I feel what this initiates. Oh my goodness, my doorbell. I'll be right back. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, you guys. Okay, it was the mailman. Delivery. So special delivery. So I don't see how. Okay, so we saw judgment. So I understand now. I could see now. Okay, but I don't understand fully what it is that I'm still supposed to do, other than the fact that I'm not giving up, and I know that I need to break away from what didn't work. The justice in reverse, the thing that I was doing, that's the devil. And now I see the devil and I recognize the devil. I got to come out of the devil. That's the Four Pentacles in reverse, because the devil really is my hanging on to the pentacle realm with that unhappy face, playing the Pokemon cards or whatever I was doing. Not that that's bad, but it's like, depending on how I utilize that thing in my world, is a cover-up. And so I see this now of how I'm challenging and how things didn't work. And it's like, I want to fight against that version of me, that voice of me, because I feel your strength. I feel something here that maybe I've never felt worth fighting for. And I don't quite understand right now how I'm going to be at your level, but I do know that in order for you and I to be at peace and come together, I have to show up here, and it has to be like a balanced giving and receiving state. But just because I don't see it today or understand how to get there, it doesn't mean that it's going to stop me from trying. And so I want to be victorious. I want to have success with you. And in order for me to have success, I have to take what doesn't work and what is challenging and work with that in order for me to move forward. So I feel like this person is a warrior, is confident in facing what they need to hear, even though it makes them feel uncomfortable in some capacity and they don't believe in self. But I feel like it's a healing process, because right now they feel like they can't really contribute here enough to match your level of whatever. And this is future state, but it's like in the future state, again, the mirage, right? Because it's like, I can't be this right now. That's a fake belief. That's an 8 swords. I can't be this person today, you know, but I know that I can't be the person that I am. I know that the person that I am being here is not creating what I want, and what I really want to create is the 2 cups with you, because that is what I see as victory. That's what feels good to me. That makes me feel like this, not like that other card we saw. And I'd rather much feel like this. And this makes me feel secure and safe. And this is something I can sort of depend on, you know? So I was depending on this world because it wasn't disappointing me, but it was like a fantasy, and it never, I don't know, it felt very empty. This makes me feel full, and here you are in a real world. I think you rescued this person from fantasy, if I got to be honest. Yeah, look, the Ace of Swords. This is a beginning in truth. So I got to see the truth. And the truth is I was hanging on to an untruthful version or vision of who I thought I was or who I had to be. And I still am not seeing myself clearly, you know, but it's because I'm replaying some traumatic voice of an experience that says something otherwise. And so as long as that voice is here, I'm in some world that's not real. And it's like, I want a new beginning in truth. I want to see what the truth is. I now know that the truth isn't who I thought I was. Now I know this, but I still don't see the me that I think I need to be for you. And how will I get there is just by not giving up and trusting, you know, trusting that I'll heal or find a way to get there, because you're providing some safe environment for me to consistently sort of reach here. Look at 10 cups. This person feels something from you. Like, it's beautiful. And look, she's wearing the green dress. Unconditional love. And their children. I think you come to this person's world, you know? And like I said, like if we can't meet someone where they're at, we can't communicate. And it's like you coming into my world means you understand and love me. And I don't think this person wants to stay Peter Pan in the small little world forever. But that's the world that they know. And that's the sword in reverse. That's the me I understood to be. And it's like you knew the truth of who I was before I even knew the truth of who I was. And this is how this person wants to be. You know, but it could be a mirage that they see they have to be this like other version of them. You know, but it's like, here's where they're sort of at. Like they're still in the infant stage here of learning how to love and how to show up and what it means to be in a committed relationship here. Yeah, 6 swords. They want to get out of their 5 swords. So this is a beautiful, good news story. You know, I do feel it's slow. I do feel this person is like, yeah, really, really slow, stuck at times. I still feel they don't see all the answers because they still have some sort of twisted way of, look, another Ace of Pentacles. It's a new beginning, like some twisted way of how they see themselves. Okay. And as long as they have the twisted way of how they see themselves, it's stemmed from this blockage. And that's why it's so important. What do we tell our children? You know, like if the wrong messaging gets into someone's head, they start to believe it and it fucks up their whole world, you know? And so, yes, we can, you know, change and heal and do things, and people have the power to do so. But if we're not aware here of the traumas and the severity of what's been planted in our mind and what we've heard day in, day out, or experiences that we had, it could become very toxic. And I feel like this person developed some toxic ways of coping. Okay, but I feel like that is the them that is going away here, especially this is talking about like ego death. And so I feel like the big ego that was trying to keep alive was the ego of safety, the ego of I'm this version of me. And it's like, no, you're not the version of you that deserves to not be happy. He has 6 swords again. So things are moving to calmer waters, you know, and they're not in that sabotage mode as often with getting out of the 5 swords. And you're in this boat here with this person. So I feel like this person feels like you're in it for the long haul, you know, and so it would be a shame if you pull the rug from under this person, because I feel this person is really sort of trusting you, you know, and the trust is really allowing this person to shift and maybe see themselves, you know. So this is your reading, pile number 3. I hope this helped you. Very interesting readings today. I hope this resonated. Obviously, if you're here, most likely it made sense to you. And I'd love to hear in the comments. I love you guys very, very much. And don't forget, there is a sale going on my website, prairievintagejewelry.com, off all readings, jewelry. If you type in One Love 15, One Love 15, you get 15% off all purchases. And I will see you there. Bye-bye.